Well, the Game Awards statue in the middle of the desert is causing quite a stir. You might have missed this. I'll get you all caught up. I don't know if you saw this or not. There's this big, giant, grotesque, Hellgate-looking statue in the middle of the desert for the Game Awards. Geoff Keighley drew attention to it. It's actually physically there. People found it. They've recorded videos. There have been some new developments with the statue. So I'm going to walk you through what it is not for. We've had some people with inside information weigh in and talk about what it's not for, because people were theorizing different games. And we'll walk through the games that it might be for. There's some pretty good theories floating around, even a conspiracy about Cory Barlog and why he said what he said. And then we'll go through the latest developments and what the statue seems to actually be doing. I'm going to end the previous stream. We were doing some morning coffee this morning. That's a great reason to become a member. You get to start your day with me in morning coffee. So consider clicking join. You get into my Discord and the extra content. All right? So, before we get to the latest developments, here's what I want to do. I want to walk through all the various theories. I want to give you the craziest theory first. I'm not going to make you, wait and go looking for it. The craziest theory concerns Cory Barlog. If you're not aware, he actually was hanging out in Luke Stevens' stream about this topic, which in general seems a little interesting to me. Why was he paying attention to this? Why was he hanging out in that stream? Now, maybe he's in there on a regular basis and just decided to chime in because he heard God of War being mentioned. If you haven't seen the statue basically has a bunch of animals on it. It has armor. It has medieval things. I'll get you a picture here in a moment. And because of that, many people started theorizing and saying, listen, this is for God of War. This is for a new God of War. There is a bear, there's a wolf, there's a snake, there's an alligator. All of these animals, for the most part, can be found within God of War. There's even armor right down here where I'm circling in sort of the 5 to 6 o'clock quadrant of it, if you're thinking of the face of a clock. And there's armor that looks like something straight out of God of War and something that Kratos wore in Ragnarok, as well as God of War 2018. Well, inside Luke Stevens' chat, Cory Barlog, the real Cory Barlog, said that it's not GOW. And people just assumed that meant, okay, it's not God of War, and they moved on. Now, conspiracies are starting to form that he never actually typed out God of War. He just typed out GOW, which could be anything. That could be Gears of War. And I actually think, from a marketing standpoint, it could be a 900 IQ play to instantly throw off the scent of everybody thinking about this, and now everybody's looking at every other game. So there is a conspiracy that he was basically in that chat, knowing it was being discussed, knowing that people were going to probably sniff out the clues that it's God of War, and he shot it down by saying GOW to throw everybody off, but it really is. Okay, that's one of the conspiracy theories out there. I think it's fun to entertain this conspiracy theory. I don't think it's very likely, if you want my honest opinion. Now, another theory that got thrown out there was Diablo 4. It is obviously very Diablo-looking. It's very demonic-looking. And then the animals could certainly be associated with some sort of a druid class. I mean, historically speaking, wolves and bears especially are kind of synonymous with the druid class and things that it can be. However, Jason Schreier of Bloomberg weighed in on this and said that it is not Diablo. He said that it is a good one. Now, him saying that it is a good one, to me, indicates that it is either an existing IP that people will be excited about, or it's coming from a developer that is well-revered and trusted, and people are going to be pumped that they're making a new game. People are thinking it could be a new game from Larian Studios. So the Diablo theory got shot down fairly quickly, which led me almost immediately to theorize that it's Path of Exile 2. They have a Druid update landing the literal day after the Game Awards. And if you go and look at the Druid class, it's volcanic, it's got fire theme. He's sort of in a dark area where they have the key art for the Druid, and obviously the wolves, the bears, the snake. I don't know about the alligator as much. Typically a Druid class is summoning something more like a bear or a wolf, or birds, or plants like carrion vines and things like that. In the past, that's something that Diablo did, and the day after, they are launching the Last of the Druids update. Now, the reason that this feels great is aesthetically, it just kind of matches. If you go and look at Path of Exile 2, you look at their logo, the vibe of the game, if you look at the vibe of the Druid, it kind of fits. What doesn't fit is it's a free update. That's a free character that is coming to a game that is currently in early access. It's not 1.0, so this would seem like a pretty significant amount of money and time and energy poured into something for a free character update in an early access game. So that's a little bit of a mismatch. I think everything else kind of matches, though, for Path of Exile 2. And also, there's other theories about other games. I got a lot to go through with you for here. So, Doom the Dark Ages DLC theory got thrown out there. Definitely thematically similar to Doom, but you're going to hear me say this a lot this morning. The animals really push a lot of games right off the table. They're normal animals as well. You can kind of see one of them down here in the corner. I'll zoom in for you. You can see the bear. That's just like a normal grizzly bear. You can see the wolf. It's just like a normal wolf. And then right there is the alligator. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see the alligator. You see, these are just normal animals, okay? That doesn't really fit with Doom the Dark Ages, like, at all. You ain't got alligators and bears and wolves and snakes running around in Doom, like, really ever. It's always, sort of grotesque demons that you're fighting. So I don't think it's Doom the Dark Ages. Now, people threw out the Elder Scrolls, which certainly, if you look at some of the stairs and some of the gates and some of the things in past Elder Scrolls games, this has very similar vibe to it. You've also got animals and things like that. Like, Elder Scrolls is sort of real-world grounded, but it's also fantasy. However, Jason Schreier said the following. He says, no, the statue is not teasing Elder Scrolls 6. He says, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop responding to this unless someone finds me at the JW bar next week and asks really nicely. Then maybe I'll answer, depending on how many drinks I've had. So listen, if you guys want to know what this thing is before it's revealed, find Jason Schreier and buy him a bunch of drinks. Like, I'm obviously kidding, but he knows, and he says it's not Elder Scrolls. Now, another one that's getting thrown out there because the road that it is on has Mesa in the name is Half-Life 3. Now, I don't necessarily think the Game Awards statue has anything to do with Half-Life 3. Again, thematically, don't really see it matching. I mean, I suppose you could say, like in Half-Life 3, they open up some kind of a hell gate and all this stuff pours out of it or something, but the animals really throws it off again for me. This feels very, very much like fantasy game. Like, everything about this kind of screams fantasy game. It screams fantasy world with the armor. There's a medieval feel to it as well. So it would be a game where you're like wearing armor, helmets and swords, and you're fighting these demonic creatures, but there also seems to be some sort of an animal focus as well. The animals are kind of like in the mix, and the animals don't seem to be fighting the demons. They just sort of seem to be in and around them. So I don't think Half-Life 3 fits. Now, what really will start to, make you scratch your noodle is Elden Ring. People are thinking maybe this is for Elden Ring 2, and somebody showed me this morning. These are the various runes from Elden Ring. Now, you might start to notice there is a lot of similarities in the style here to these runes, especially the main Elden Ring rune here down at the bottom, and just the overall look and feel of this. Most of the runes in Elden Ring are very symmetrical. You could kind of cut them right down the middle, with the exception of the 4 up here in the corner that are all very similar, like Radahn's and things like that. But the rest of these, I mean, you could split them right down the middle, and the branching out and the style and even the color, right? They like to use like reds and oranges. This could be some kind of a rune, some kind of a sigil for Elden Ring. It could be some kind of a gate that opens. You go down to that wall right at the end of Elden Ring. I think I did the one where like I lit the world and myself on fire or something. I don't even really remember what I did. I played so many hours of Elden Ring, I kind of forget. But maybe there's a door or a wall or a gate somewhere that opens, and that leads to Elden Ring 2, and that could be essentially where this is headed. Now, I am seeing some people try to claim that it is Saros, the spiritual sequel to Returnal from Housemarque and PlayStation. I think it sort of matches very loosely. but it also really doesn't match at all. Saros is very orange. I mean, very orange. And it's more about like an eclipse and the sun than it is about like a demonic like Waygate red theme. It doesn't really match in that regard. The other thing that really throws it off is the animals. We've seen quite a bit of Saros. We've seen quite a bit of gameplay of Saros. I'm not seeing alligators, bears, snakes, and wolves really fitting within that world. You're on sort of a disgusting sort of earthen mythical planet. Like if you look at the god that comes out, it looks almost mythical. It's got multiple arms. It's literally holding like suns in its hands. And it is sort of jagged and like sort of creepy looking, but not like this. It doesn't have like an underworld demonic feel to it. It feels more mythical earthy, like you would be on another planet and you're like, wow, these are almost like mythical beings and gods, not necessarily like whatever this is. It just feels very different, which led people to then start talking about Lords of the Fallen, right? Lords of the Fallen 2, if you paid any attention to a lot of its marketing, they really, really like the color red. And here is the key art for Lords of the Fallen 2. And I gotta tell you, this is not a bad theory. It really is not. You look at the background, you look at the red, you look at something opening, you look at like almost like you have these gross teeth, and almost like something is either opening or trying to consume the world, okay? A lot of red going on here. Originally, Lords of the Fallen 1, like the one that just recently came out, had a lot of blue because of like the different, things you could do with the lantern. Blue was sort of the theme. Pivoting to red, kind of makes sense. However, I'm going to shoot this one down, and I'm going to tell you why. The animals, once again, really throw it off. If you look at Lords of the Fallen, the creatures in that game are extremely grotesque. They're very macabre looking. There's like no real animals in Lords of the Fallen 2, right? There's a radiant hound, okay? It's not normal looking. It doesn't look like a dog or a wolf. It looks like this grotesque, nasty being with like armor on and stuff. So I don't think it's Lords of the Fallen 2. Because, again, this looks more like a fantasy game that's grounded more in reality. Like, if you go and you play like a Diablo or a Path of Exile or even like an Elder Scrolls, it's fantasy, but it's grounded in reality. Humans look like humans. Horses look like horses. Bears, dogs, wolves, they look like normal animals. But then the world itself is sort of being infested with the demonic creatures and the threats and the darkness. And then you get into sort of games like Lords of the Fallen and others where it's very, it's everything's grotesque and distorted and disgusting. There's no realness to it anymore. It's like the world is, it's like another world almost. And Elden Ring, to its credit, we looked, the wolves and the bears in Elden Ring, they look like just sort of like normal animals. Like the animals in Elden Ring tend to look normal, while the bosses and the people and the creatures all look a little bit distorted and messed up. Even the people that you fight, they look like humans that have been sort of altered and messed with. They don't look like these creatures from another planet or something, or like a person with like 85, teeth or something like that. It's not quite as grotesque. Which brings me to the next one that people were throwing out. There were people throwing out that the Game Awards statue was Dante's Inferno. And I think this is kind of the right vibe, but again, the animals are going to be what throw this off. Similar to Lords of the Fallen, if you go and you look at Dante's Inferno, it is in that sort of grotesque, macabre creature vibe. There's not a lot of realistic stuff in it. You're not seeing like a normal horse, bear, wolf, things like that. So I don't think that it is Dante's Inferno, which made people think, well, what about Darksiders? What about Darksiders 4? Very much the right vibe, but then I went and looked, and even the horses in Darksiders, they're not realistic like they are, but they aren't. They've been modified and they look kind of crazy. And then all the other creatures in Darksiders are, once again, they're like these grotesque abominations. You're not seeing like normal bears, wolves, and alligators. I think, again, that throws it off. So aesthetically, I keep coming back to Path of Exile 2. I think everything I'm looking at perfectly fits with Path of Exile 2 or like an Elden Ring 2. The Path of Exile 2 like druid thing that they're doing. The only reason I'm really hesitant to think that it's Path of Exile 2 is this seems big budget, like a Microsoft, PlayStation, or, like a FromSoft thing, or you got like a big publisher, footing the bill. Which brings me to the recent developments, okay? There are new developments with the Game Awards statue in the desert. There are sounds coming from it. So I think this thing is going to open at some point. Something's going to change. Something's going to happen. Things like this usually change or update over time, kind of like an ARG or a puzzle. Maybe they start dropping puzzle or hints or things. I could see this doing something maybe next week, at the beginning of the week or something. So that's all of the various theories. Feel free to put a comment below or, say something in the chat. What you guys think it is. What game do you think it is? What do you think about all my theories? Now that I'm kind of done with the show open, take a quick second and hit the like button. Do me a favor and do that. Try to get us those first 100 likes. It really does help. Thank you, Snow, for the raid. Always good to see you. Peekaboo from Snow and all the raiders. We don't mean to scare you, but we hope to surprise you. We appreciate it very much, Snow. I appreciate your support. You are so kind and so sweet to the channel. We appreciate it. Jason Schreier says it's a good one. That's the other part of the Path of Exile thing that, I just don't think that he would say it's a good one. We already know about Path of Exile's Druid update. So why would he say it's a good one? They just did, a reveal about it. So, there's nothing... it's not like they're holding it back and they're going to show us something new and crazy. Does that make sense? Haddigan comes in with a re-up. Let me add you to the total here for Twitch. Thank you so much. Your exclamation, it made me think that it's D&D Stranger Things crossover game. Explains the animals, the armor, the red Mind Flayer matches Stranger Things vibe as well. I think that would be a pretty... That's not bad, Haddigan. And thank you for the re-up. Thank you, Cardoc, for gifting a sub to Snow. Snow, you can now get in the Discord. Always a great place to stay into contact with everybody. You can stay in contact with me and the community through Discord if you like. If you want to, anybody, you guys can do that. If you're a member on YouTube or Twitch, get in that Discord. And then Sorcerer with 54 months and a VIP. Thank you so much, Sorcerer, with the VIP. And then a 5-bomb comes in from Wired Rope. Boom, and gets us to 264 and puts Twitch in the lead. Can I ask a question? Sure, you can ask a question. I mean, you made your account 4 days ago, so I'm sure it'll be genuine. If it's Lords of the Fallen 2, I just hope it's better than the first game and doesn't run like butt at launch. Apparently, Lords of the Fallen's gotten much better with time. So, yeah, I would hope that Lords of the Fallen 2 is able to build on a lot of the optimization and improvements that they made. Looks like Saros. It does not look like Saros. Do you need a designer or an editor for your channel? Oh, so it's one of those. It's one of those. Yeah, I get a lot of these DMs on Twitter. I do not need a designer or an editor for my channel, no. It does not look like Saros. Saros is orange. There's nothing medieval about Saros. There are no animals in Saros. It does not look like Saros to me at all. So, yeah. Have a good day. Yeah, no problem. A $10 super chat from Neo Reaper. Bloodborne has runes as well. And give the Beast rune a look. This would be one thing to make all insiders like Jason Schreier keep quiet. So you're saying Bloodborne has runes. Okay. Bloodborne runes. I'm not seeing any Bloodborne runes that necessarily match what we're looking at. I mean, a little bit. A little bit. Bloodborne runes have more, in my opinion, this strikes me as more tribal tattoo vibe than demonic gateway vibe. I'm looking at a lot of the runes here for Bloodborne. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing an artistic alignment here. Yeah, maybe Fuzzy. I saw that one. Fuzzy's looking at this one here. I just don't know. That doesn't, again, there's something that doesn't line up. I think Elden Ring looks way more similar. If you look at these runes and then you look at that red thing, whatever it is, buddy, I'm here to tell you, it looks a lot like Elden Ring. And the medieval armor, I mean, I don't know. I think it more matches the Druid Path of Exile vibe. I think it matches that more. But again, I don't know if Jason Schreier would say it's a good one. Why would he say that? We already know about the Path of Exile 2 Druid update. Like, that's not something to surprise us with. We know about it. Does that make sense? Like, that was the first thing I thought of when like, I went and I looked, and somebody said, what about Path of Exile? And I went and I looked, and I was like, oh, wow. Is there a game, or are we talking about the show? Oh, they were theorizing that maybe there's like a combination game coming out between, like, you know, Stranger Things and like a D&D game, which, you know, certainly would fit. You know, a new Larian game is possible. Right, so when Jason Schreier says it's a good one, so if you guys are just tuning in, we're discussing the Game Awards statue in the desert. And there's been some developments. It apparently is making sound. According to Jason Schreier from Bloomberg, it is not Elder Scrolls. It is not Diablo 4. Anything with either of those titles, it seems. There is a conspiracy floating around that Cory Barlog was hanging out in Luke Stevens' chat about this because he knew folks were going to start to pick up on some of the visual cues that it could be God of War. He didn't say it's not God of War. He said it's not GOW, which, again, that's a 900 IQ play if I've ever seen one. I don't think that's what's going on. I'm just telling you that some people have theorized that. I don't personally think that's what it is. I think it's more likely, you know, Elden Ring 2 or something like that. Something pretty big, something pretty exciting. New Night Rain content. No, there's already new Night Rain content happening. Twitch just started a hype train for some reason, so it's time to go nuts, Twitch. Thank you so much. It's probably because of Wired Ropes 5 from a little bit ago. So, see if we can't set a new record. Keep us on pace for the week. Gaming News Tonight is a segment I do on Fridays where my wife reacts to gaming news. So if you guys help us hit the goal every week, we do an extra segment on Friday night for you. I hate to raid and dash, but I have to rest a bit. I was on overnight when I had energy after being through a cold. Well, I'm sorry about that. Stay in touch and rest up. Thank you for submitting your report. We will take a look. Okay, great. A Demon Hunter's secret sale. Oh, that's a shirt thing. I was like, what the heck? Okay. Anyways, if you guys are just tuning in, you've never been here before, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. If you want to talk in my chat, you just need to subscribe or follow. JW with the VIP Plus, 57 months. That's a lot of months. What's up with YouTube? I get all these random notifications for people I don't watch, and today was the first notification I've got about your stream in over a month. Anyway, 57 months. Yay. I appreciate you telling me that, JW, because we have been having an issue with notifications being on the homepage. We've had some issues with turnout being lighter, and we've had a lot of people come in and complain and say they can't find the videos or the stream. Hopefully that is being rectified. YouTube did a bunch of stuff with AI, and it's really, really messed with the platform. So we're hoping that gets rectified. I am sorry if you're having trouble finding the streams. That's a great reason to be in the Discord. You'll never miss out if you're in the Discord. I'm always in there pinging people with links. I'm like, hey, I'm live. Come watch. So great reason for everybody to be in the Discord. And a 10 bomb comes in from Siriu. I was just getting ready to say we are 10 away from the next milestone, and Siriu secures it. I now owe YouTube a member. I still owe Twitch 2. I'm going to wait until I owe Twitch 5 because I spend an extra $1 every time. A single gifted is $6. So, good morning, my beautiful man that I envy your hair as I'm wearing a crown at 28. Well, I'm sorry about that. Mine's a little long and a little wild. I'm getting it cut tonight. I usually don't go this long, but the holiday kind of disrupted the schedule. Could it be a new Hellblade game? I went and I looked at the Hellblade runes to test that theory, and the runes in Hellblade are very straight line and very angular, so it doesn't really fit. And Broken Earth does a 5 bomb to keep the member train going. We are now exactly a 20 bomb away from the next milestone where I owe a member. We'll see if anybody decides to steal it, and YouTube taking a strong lead here, 18-10. Thank you so much for doing that. It's not Hellblade? No, it's not Hellblade. I went and looked. The animals don't quite make sense for Hellblade. The medieval vibe, a little bit, I guess, but like the runes just don't match. Henry was 17 months. I wasn't paying attention to the Game Awards topic, but now I'm definitely interested. I'm thinking it is an established IP. When Jason Schreier says that the Game Awards statue is a good one, it's either an established IP that people are going to be excited about, or it's an established developer that people are going to be excited about. So, like, if it's a new game from Larian or Elden Ring 2, or, you know, maybe Cory Barlog's messing with people and it's a new God of War, you know, then I think that would make sense of what he said, that it's a good one. You wouldn't say it's a good one, and this is why I'm not sure about Path of Exile's Druid update, which is what I originally theorized the Game Awards statue was. I was like, oh, I think it's the Path of Exile 2 Druid update. I don't know if you would do this much money in marketing and then have Jason Schreier saying it's a good one when we already know about that. Nobody's going to be surprised. Like, they just did a thing about it. Does that make sense? Yo, JW with the 5 bomb gets us a little bit closer. We're now 15 away from the next milestone. Keep it going, boys. Nice member train on YouTube. It's been a while since we've had a big member train on YouTube. A couple of weeks since then. You guys are getting back to dominating, it seems. See if Twitch can answer back, though. You have 20 seconds on the hype train, Twitch. I don't even think Corey needs to play word games with GOW. When Jaffe was still at PlayStation, he flat out lied about Twisted Metal existing. Creators aren't beholden to fans to confirm a project's existence. That I would say that's true. I would say that's true. I don't know. Think about it. Everybody's being silent, with the exception of like Jason Schreier, but like all these studios are staying silent. And another member bomb comes in. A 5 bomb comes in from Broken Earth, keeping the member train on YouTube going. Thank you so much. And extending the lead. It's now 28-10. Appreciate you guys so much on YouTube. And the the hype train on Twitch came to an end. I like that. I like that Twitch gets a hype train and YouTube goes crazy. No notification this morning. That's unfortunate. Sure, but we have the chance to say nothing. He chose not to. This is right. JW keeps the member train going. They're bouncing the ball back and forth. JW and Broken Earth with the 5 bombs. We're now at 295. Thank you so much. You guys are now 5 away from being on pace for the week. We're about to be ahead of pace, and I'll owe you guys 2 members over there on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And another one, Broken Earth and JW just hitting it back and forth and lands the 300 plane just like that. Twitch getting left in the dust. 38-10, but Cardock Ren has something to say about it. He tried to snipe it and he misses. 305. We're now 20 away from the next milestone. If somebody snipes that for 20, I will owe you a member. And JW does it again. I don't know what is going on. We're at 310. We're at 310. Just like that. And then Raphael comes in with a single as well on YouTube to keep the train alive. Thank you guys so much. We'll see if Twitch can catch up. It's 44-15. Gonna need one of the heavy hitters to come in, I think, today. What about the new version of an old MMO? It's gonna open up at the Game Awards. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Game Awards statue opens next week. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that at all if it opens next week. Like, I think usually stuff like this develops. Like, I don't think he drew our attention to a statue this early. Like, if it wasn't going to open, I think he would have drew our attention to it, like, this weekend. So I think it's going to sit there all week. Everybody's going to theorize. And then I think, like, next week it's going to start to open. Yeah, Barlog is working on whatever happened to Confetti. Oh, yeah, hang on. I've got to set the goal. And then let me get the fan funding pulled up. So if anybody does it, I can see it. Let's see here. Every 5 super chats, I will gift a member. There we go. There you go. Yeah. So there you guys can make confetti now. Sorry about that. But yeah, like Barlog's next game Can I please have the coffee command? Yeah, just type !coffee. Which coffee drinkers, we're trying to move through our medium and light roast, and that's going to help you out. If you buy coffee on the regular right now from like the grocery store, ours is cheaper. It's $10.95 a bag right now. We're trying to get through that light and medium roast, which this is like $20 bag coffee. Like, we're marking it down significantly for y'all. And this is not white label. People have really weird things to say about the fact that we sell coffee. Like, there are plenty of streamers that do this. You work with a company to have flavor matching and roasting and bagging done, and then we have it here in our house and we ship it out to you. You didn't get it? JW with the 5 bomb gets us to 316. It's Swordman 3. It's not Swordman 3. Sorry. It is not Swordman 3. But yes, Jason Schreier a while ago said that Cory Barlog's new game is not it is not a sci-fi game. So maybe that's why Cory Barlog weighed in to be like, oh no, it's not God of War. Well, he said it's not GOW. Some people think he was being cheeky. They think that it is GOW, that it is God of War, and that's why he didn't type it out. I don't know about that theory. I do know that Jason Schreier indicated that Cory Barlog's game that he's been working on is not it's not a sci-fi game. Everybody was saying Cory Barlog's game was a sci-fi game. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that started, but Jason Schreier shot that down recently. So we will see. An existing IP, I think it is an existing IP, or it's a big enough studio that people will be excited, because Jason Schreier said it's a good one. He's not going to reveal what it is, but he said it's a good one. What if it's Ari's name with a different name? Ari's game with a different name. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Rob. What has happened with the statue? Okay, so the latest development with the statue is it is actually making noise. So I think it's going to open. Maybe when it opens, it'll be clear what it is. Right? Maybe when it opens, it'll be clear what it is. But like, I actually think that I think it's going to open. But yeah, it's making sound now. Or maybe it's been making sound the entire time, but that was one of the new developments with the Game Awards statue, was that it's like making some kind of like a humming, ominous, I don't even know like how to describe it. A $5 super chat from Mike on a mic. It's the new Destiny 2 Swordman 7 crossover. Please believe me. Please believe me. That's a good shout out or callback to when that guy kept saying the GTA 6 trailer was out. He's like, please believe me. Could it be Loki? Technically not God of War. And the animal resembles Atreus' abilities. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, that's actually not bad. That might make sense as to why Barlog would weigh in and be like, no, it's not God of War. They could be making a spinoff called God of Mischief, but I don't know. Like, would like a demonic theme, demonic waygate, and these demon-like creatures and medieval armor and all that, like, would that line up with the God of Mischief? Like, I just don't think so. It's Half-Life 3, trust? No, I don't. That would be a weird one. If it's Half-Life 3, then they're going in a really weird direction. Alligator was only in Marvel, not real Norse mythology. Yeah, it's I think if I had to guess, is it an alligator or a crocodile? I think it's an alligator, because people were thinking maybe it was a crocodile and it could be Egypt, because like Egyptian gods, right? But the problem is the bears and the wolves make it really hard to think that it's something Egyptian based, because like if you were in Egypt, like a lot of the gods were like jackals, falcons, snakes. There is a crocodile god. So, like, I don't think that it's, like, an Egyptian-themed thing, which is what people were thinking. They were thinking, oh, that, you know, the Game Awards statue is, you know, like God of War's, you know, new, you know, Egypt focus or whatever. So, I don't think so. Norse to Egypt. I mean, it could be animals and references to God of War Ragnarok, and then Kratos gets pulled through some gate, and that's why he ends up in Egypt or something. Like, that's been kind of the thought, is that for the next game, they would have to have him jump into another pantheon for some reason. Is the symbol even Egyptian? I think this symbol looks way more like Elden Ring runes. I actually feel like that this could be Elden Ring 2. The animals make it a little weird for Elden Ring 2. Like, why would animals be a part of the theme? But there are definitely animals in Elden Ring. I mean, there are really big bears, and there are certainly wolves. So, I don't know. But that symbol really, really looks like the runes from Elden Ring. Very symmetrical. It's light-based, like the runes in Elden Ring have like a glowing sort of, like it's been carved into rock and the rock is glowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's an earthenness to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like almost like tree branches. I don't know. Why the desert? I don't know. Yeah. Look up Midra, Lord of Flames from Elden Ring. That shape. Okay, you're saying look up Midra, Lord of Flames, Elden Ring. Let us see here. Yeah, I mean, that's but like the branches and like a little bit. I'm trying to find a good picture. You know, yeah, maybe. I could see this. Like, if you look at the ground, especially here, you know what I mean? There's like a wood, like tree branch, earthy vibe, like an earthen creature that like crawled out of like a tree or something. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's an art vibe. There's definitely an art vibe also that makes me think of, let me see if I can get a good picture of this. Do you guys remember this? It also makes me think of this. It does. The way these things cascade out, you know, from the middle, it really makes me think of that. Like these three here, these four at the bottom. Hang on, that's that. It really makes me think of that. And then one straight up the middle. What he looks like before going flame on. Okay, so that's him before going flame on. Ooh, we might have a winner. That really looks the same. It's like the same pattern. The four coming out the bottom and the one going out the top. I don't know, dude. That's not bad. That's really, really not bad. I don't necessarily think it's a rune. The pictures of it in daylight, it looks like an eye. It does kind of look like an eye, but then as it takes shape, the rune appears, right? So, sorry, what is that? So if you're just catching up, this is the Game Awards statue in the desert. It's some kind of an event that is taking place to hype up the Game Awards. And this is associated with some type of a game. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg has indicated that it's not Diablo and it's not Elder Scrolls. And people have said Lords of the Fallen. There's normal animals on it, like bears and wolves and stuff, and an alligator. I actually think Midra, Lord of Flames, with these things coming out the side here and this one straight line down through, it really matches this right here and then these two, you know, jutting out, and then there's like an eye. I don't know. I don't think it's Dante's Inferno either, the animals are too normal. A lot of games like Lords of the Fallen and Dante's Inferno, like all the animals and creatures are very grotesque and weird and like otherworldly and sort of macabre and disturbing. That is not, I don't think, the vibe I get when I see like a regular bear, you know. Haseo is going to gift a member to try to round us out here at 317. Thank you, sir. There is a free-to-play Steam RPG, combines Elden Ring combat with Minecraft presentation and a D&D twist. What is this game called? It's free to play on Steam. It'll make you love gaming again. Wait, no. Where is it? What's it called? It's called Darkcraft. Haseo's not just going to do a single. He's going to do a 5-bomb and get us to 322. Thank you so much, Haseo. I appreciate that very, very much. When is Darkcraft? It's taking. Hopefully, it managed to climb to the top spots. Okay, let's look at this game. Darkcraft Steam. Darkcraft on Steam. So if you guys want to wishlist this one, it's a MMORPG in the Souls-like genre. Explore an open world filled with ruined castles, forgotten temples, and enemies waiting for their prey. Play solo or with friends, hunt bosses, join guilds, fight other players, and prove your fight to reign supreme. It's from Take Top Entertainment. We'll look and see what they've done before. So you could wishlist this on Steam right now. Another single comes in from Haseo. Thank you so much. Another single comes in from Haseo. He's going to try and walk this to 325 all by himself. I'm going to owe you guys a 5-bomb any minute. I'm about to owe YouTube 3 members. He said it's not Diablo 4. What if it's Diablo 1 or 3 remastered? And another one comes in from Haseo. So what is that? 3 singles? There it is. Boom, boom, boom. We're at 325. This definitely has promise. It's got like a whole vibe and a feel. This definitely has a whole lot of promise. So Darkcraft MMORPG Souls-like. So you can wishlist this on Steam right now. I don't know who this developer is. That's their first game on Steam. They don't have any other games on Steam. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my wish list. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And we are at 325. I now owe YouTube 3 members. I think I'm going to start waiting until I owe a 5-bomb. Let me add another one here. Hilly with 57 months. I have no memory of this place. Looks like Lego Elden Ring. A little bit. It says it combines like Minecraft, Elden Ring, and Souls games all in an MMORPG. I think that's pretty cool. So thank you guys for hitting the like button. As you're coming in, we're talking about the Game Awards statue, and the latest developments are a lot of theories and a lot of theories shot down. So Jason Schreier said that it is not Elder Scrolls. It is not Diablo 4. Cory Barlog said that it's not GOW. Now, he didn't spell out God of War, so some people are theorizing that maybe he was being cheeky. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Haseo ordered 2 bags of the Frickmas blend. Thank you so much for doing that, Haseo. If you guys are coffee drinkers and you want to snag those before they're gone, the light and the medium roast are discounted right now. Thank you for that. A lot of games never go beyond the trailer on Steam. Yeah, I'm sure. A lot of games don't make it to market. Whatever game it is, it's great advertising. Do you think it's not the DLC of a new game from FromSoft? Here's why I don't think it's a DLC. Was Regal inspiring thickness a clue? I think it was, Jaggy. What would Regal inspiring thickness? Like, I don't know what I don't know what that would be a clue for. Oh, no, that was not a clue. Paul is saying that was the map coordinates. That's how people found it. Yeah. That's why he spaced it out with the the periods. Yep, it was that was the clue. That's how people found it. Now, Devolver Digital is weighing in on the Game Awards statue. If you guys haven't seen this yet, these guys are always hilarious. They're saying, if no one else is going to claim this thing, then we will. It's for Skate Story, which comes out December 8th on Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Steam. Anyone else that claims it is lying. We made it out of the bones of most of our interns, and the remaining interns put it in the desert. Yeah. So Devolver Digital is saying it's theirs if anybody else claims it's lying. Now, Vampire Survivors weighed in and said that they're lying, that Devolver's lying, that it's theirs. Let's see. Could the Game Awards statue be for Elden Ring 2? Looking pretty similar to the runes in Elden Ring. And what's this person? Midra, Lord of Flame? Is it Midra, Lord of Flame? Lord of Frenzied Flames. Is that the official title of Midra? Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame. Okay. Let's try to get these in a side-by-side. Copy image. Paste it. All right, let's edit this and go like that. Yeah. And then let's edit this one and go like that. Save. Could the Game Awards statue be for Elden Ring 2? Looking pretty similar to the runes in Elden Ring. The red is looking pretty similar to the runes in Elden Ring, and Midra, Lord of Flame, Lord of Frenzied Flame, not Flame Frenzied Flame. There we go. Post. I could definitely see this being something from Devolver. Those guys are weird. I think the issue would be, I think the issue with something like that would be the money involved. This seems, that's cringe tweeting. Shut the frick up, Hilly. Nobody asked you. But yeah, I think that, I think it's big budget. Like, this screams big budget. This doesn't scream like small studio, like DLC. You know what I mean? The animals are the clue. It's Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's Animal Crossing. Yeah, I think it screams big budget. It screams PlayStation, Microsoft. Like, somebody with money. Somebody with money did this. I have another prediction, Lono. Very out of left field, though. All right, what do you got? What do you guys got? Oh, we just dropped some frames. That looked like it was just YouTube, though. I don't think that was both. I think that was just YouTube. We might have switched ingest servers. If YouTube gets a blip and Twitch doesn't, then I think that answers that question. It's a giant model of the Xbox Magnus. You guys are all wrong. It's clearly Harvest Moon. It's Fallout New Vegas. Okay, so purple was fine. Okay, no blip here. It might have just been like a real quick frame drop then. It could just been something with, I don't know. It was only 320 frames, so it's pretty quick. So we'll see. Warhammer doesn't look like Warhammer to me. I think the Game Awards statue is something grounded in fantasy. I think it's also grounded in sort of like a non-grotesque world. Does that make sense? Like, if you look at like Bloodborne or Dante's Inferno or any of the other ones, Lords of the Fallen 2, those games are very grounded in like a grotesque world. I don't think this is. the realistic looking bear and wolves and alligator to me is like a fantasy world where things are real. The animals are real. The people are real. And there's like, it's like being infested with like demons and the undead. Yo, Rissick coming in with the single. Thank you so much, Rissick. Bumping the line to 327. My man. Appreciate you, Rissick. It's Days Gone 2. We see mutation and a bear there. A lot of Days Gone vibes. Days Gone? I don't think so. The red, like, rune, like, the fact that it does this at night, I just don't think so. It looks more demon fantasy based than, like, yeah, I don't think so. Breaking. The mysterious Game Awards statue has nothing to do with Little Big Planet. There we go. Thank you so much for that. We're so glad to know that. You're all wrong. Sean Murray put it there for Light No Fire. Yeah, I saw Sean Murray tweet. His tweet was actually pretty funny. Did you guys see? Sean Murray is like, I feel like a naturally funny guy. He's good. He's good at this whole social media thing. He says, no one's considering that Geoff is simply opening a hell portal. I think that's it. I think that's a good tweet. I think that's an excellent tweet. I mean, it really looks like some kind of a demon monster thing it's coming through, dude. You know, it's an invasion of sorts, you know? It's an invasion of sorts, boys. That's what it feels like to me. Some kind of a demon invasion. As you guys are tuning in, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Hit subscribe if you want to talk. Hit follow if you want to talk. Appreciate you being here. We are talking about the Game Awards statue and what people think it is. I'm actually leaning towards Elden Ring 2 now that we've looked at Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flames. It really matches the vibe. It really does. The structure, you know, you look at the runes from Elden Ring. I think I'm leaning a little bit more now towards Elden Ring 2 because I was originally thinking that it was Path of Exile and the last Druids thing that they're doing, which is like the day after the Game Awards. But they've already announced all that stuff and shown all that stuff. So I don't think Jason Schreier would say it's a good one. And I don't think I don't think he would say, yeah, it's a good one for like some free update to a game in early access that we already know about. You don't think it's Saros? No, I don't think it's Saros. No. It doesn't match Saros at all. Saros is orange. Saros is more like mythical, earthy, like other planet, a little alien. This is more fantasy, demon, you know. That's why people immediately thought Diablo and others thought Path of Exile. Some have thought Last Epoch. Some have thought Elder Scrolls. It really doesn't fit the vibe of Saros like at all. It just doesn't. What if it's multiple big games represented in it? You think it could just be for the event itself? What sound is it playing? Yeah, does anybody have the sounds? The reason I don't think it's multiple big games, Joker Quinn, is I don't think Jason Schreier would have weighed in and said, it's not Diablo, but it's a good one. Like, it's a good one, to me, doesn't indicate, oh, yeah, it's just for the event. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can't find the sound somewhere. This Gaming Ledger says, I think it's intergalactic. Might be a symbol for the lost planet they mentioned in the trailer. No. Intergalactic robot. Intergalactic game robot. No, it doesn't match the vibe at all. Doesn't match the vibe of Intergalactic at all, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think it matches the vibe of Intergalactic. Intergalactic's like robotic future, retro, Okay, let's see here. Game Awards statue sound. Let's see if we can find somebody who has the sound coming out of it. Media. Game Awards statue sound. There's no results? How are there no results? Let me see if this has sound. Hang on. No, it's not making sound. In some of the earlier pieces, in some of the earlier video footage, it's not making sound. Can anybody find... let's see if we might have to Google. Let's see. The Game Awards statue sound. The Game Awards statue, unfortunately, It just pulls up a bunch of news articles about the stinking statues that people are handed, like the trophies. I can't. If anybody can find it, somebody said that it's emanating sound last night on Twitter. And now I can't find it. I should have liked the tweet. I should have, because that's the new development. It originally wasn't making any sound. Is it Banana 2? I think there's a high probability that it's Banana 2. I think there's smoke coming out of it also. I wouldn't be surprised if every day it does a little something different maybe. You know what I mean? That wouldn't shock me at all if they have it set up to do different things. Doom DLC? No, it's got bears, wolves, snakes, and an alligator. That wouldn't make much sense for Doom. Dark Souls 4. Maybe there's clues in the sound. Yeah, I can't believe you guys scour Twitter too if you can. Find somebody who's put out the sound, because I literally saw it last night and now I can't find it. Anytime I see a tweet like that, I just need to like it so I have it saved for later. Let's retweet. Yeah, the Okami tweet, there's no sound. All I hear is wind and people talking. Somebody literally tweeted last night and said that there's sound coming from it now, and they had an accompanying video. And it was like a low, I feel like it was like a hum or something. I was on my phone, so I didn't get to listen or watch for very long. I'm still going to lock in on Lords of the Fallen 2. Maybe it's stealth releases. Elden Ring movie. What are the odds that it's the PoE Druid plus a plus 1.0 update? The reason that I don't think it's Path of Exile and the Druid update is I don't think that Jason Schreier would say it's a good one. It's not Saros because it doesn't thematically match Saros. Saros doesn't have medieval armor, demons, or animals. Also, Saros is very orange and very Eclipse and Sun based, not like demon red demonic based. So it's not Saros. I can confidently say it's not Saros. I don't think it's Path of Exile 2 because I don't think that Jason Schreier would say it's a good one for a free character update that we already know about. I don't think he would do this level of update for this level of marketing for a free update. And now 1.0 of Path of Exile, maybe this much effort to be like, hey, we're announcing 1.0 for a game that we know is eventually going to be in 1.0 anyway. That seems like an awful lot of effort for that kind of an announcement. It seems to me Schreier saying that it's a good one. It's a big game or a big dev. It's not like a DLC or an update or something like that. That doesn't, he wouldn't, I think he would have stayed out of it. He weighed in and he's like, yeah, it's not Elder Scrolls and it's not Diablo, but it's a good one. Well, okay. That's pretty big. You found it? Okay, hang on. We might have the sound. I hate you. Like, a lot, Omar. I really, really do. I really, really hate you. It's frickin' Rickroll. You are such an a-hole. You're lucky I didn't have my sound on. You're lucky that I didn't have my sound on. Get me a copyright claim because you want to make a frickin' joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the kind of thing that will break a person. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing that'll have a streamer crash out and end up on live stream fails. You know? Like, I just can't take it anymore. Like, I break my desk. I, like, flip out, you know? Get the frick out of here. Remnant 2 would be cool. Again, I think the animals make it really hard for it to be certain ones. You still haven't memorized the URL? No, I haven't. What you've memorized the YouTube URL for Rickroll? The video has 1.7 billion views. Yeah, you've got to. He's got to appreciate that, you know. You know, the world. He's 59 years old. You know what I mean? At 59, he's got to appreciate the fact that his freaking YouTube channel has a video with almost 2 billion views because everybody's playing jokes on their friends. You know? I absolutely know the URL. I guess I'm going to have to try to remember it now. Yeah. Half of those were him. That's not nice. Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet on YouTube, do me a favor and do it. I owe YouTube 2 members, right? 2? What do I owe you guys for? I can't remember now. And I owe Twitch 2 as well. I was kind of holding out until we got to the 5 bomb for each platform. Did we figure it out yet? I think it's Elden Ring. I think if you look, I'm dead serious. I think if you look at Major Lord of Frenzied Flames, the straight down arrow, and these spikes are coming out, these 4 spikes at the bottom, it is just, man, that's really similar. And then when you look at the runes from Elden Ring, I'm leaning towards Elden Ring. You know what I mean? That's what I think. That's what I think. I love how you say that exclusives matter when they don't. When Xbox are far in their dominance, don't come at us crying. I don't think either of those things will happen. So I think I'll have an easy time with that one. Yeah. It'll be pretty easy to not come to you crying when they're in their dominance, yeah? Dominating what exactly? What exactly do you think they're going to dominate? I would love for you to tell me. No, it's not Swordman 8, sadly. Sadly, it's not Swordman 8. We're all waiting. You know? We can't wait for you to tell us. Oh, he copied and pasted it. I love how you say that exclusives matter when they don't. Okay. All right. He just repeats, yeah. Somebody should let Nintendo know that exclusives don't matter. Yeah. Somebody should really tell them. They're in for a rude awakening. You know? Poor Nintendo. Can you say it's coming? I knew it when they reveal the statue. I'll do my best. Yeah, I'll do my best. It's coming. I knew it. Yeah, I'll do my best to bring that energy when they reveal whatever it is. Whatever it is. I think that should be the new that should be the new thing that we do. Like anytime something like that happens, we're like, yeah, we knew it. We knew that it was going to be, Space Marine 9, like whatever it ends up being. You just claim that you knew it. You're like, knew it. I called that. I told y'all that it was going to be that. You know what I mean? Well, why are people PlayStation fanboys? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. You'd have to ask them why they like the brand so much. I think there are people who like lots of things a lot. There are people who just love Nintendo. I mean, there are people who went a little hard. They went a little hard for Nintendo and the Switch 2. I love my Switch 2. It's great. I don't think I'd consider myself like a Nintendo fanboy. You'd have to ask people that align and claim to be a fanboy. Now, not somebody that you accuse of being a fanboy. That happens all of the time, right? People are like, yeah, but you're a this or a that. Read the Devolver Digital tweet again? Why? Yo, kicking it with Timmy B. Welcome back. Boom, taking us to 328. What do you think you got here? It's in the desert? What am I looking for here, Rope? You're in my top 3 gaming content creators for YouTube. Oh, you got your YouTube recap? Nice. What do we got here? If no one else is going to claim this thing, then we will. Notice anything missing for Skate Story? It's for Skate Story, which comes out on December 8th for Switch, PS5, and Steam. Wishlist now. Coming to PS5. Shred the World and Skate Story coming to PS5. Exclusives don't matter when you're exclusively skipped by games. I'm just kidding around. You're number 4 for me. Nice. Stop falling for rage bait, but we know that ain't gonna happen. I don't know what you mean. You came in and said something and I just calmly replied to you. What are you talking about? No one's falling for rage bait. Like, I just asked you a question and kind of laughed at you. It's really weird energy to come in and say something and that quickly admit that what you said was stupid to bait rage. Like, really? I don't understand. I've never kind of understood that energy when someone's like, haha, I got you by saying something that I knew was stupid. What? Like, I don't know, man. People can see you. They can see what you're saying. Why would you just be like, hey, I'm pathetic. I just want everybody to know it. Like, all right, man, thanks for stopping by. What? Thanks for the 7th streak, Raven. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Like, you think the statue is teasing Reforge taking a dump naked on Hawaii? Now, I got to tell you, I think that would be impressive. There would be a lot of logistics that would go into taking a dump on a state. Like, you'd have to fly over at a reasonable altitude in some type of a plane or, construction where, like, you're able to just let it go, like, right on a state. You know, and poor Hawaii. Like, why would you pick Hawaii? You know what I mean? That's a tourist attraction. Or, I mean, not a tourist attraction. Sorry, it's a tourist state, man. They get a lot of tourism there. Anyway, the Game Awards statue is not the only thing we're going to be covering today. I've got some other things for you guys as well. It's the Bloodborne Moon Rune. You think it's the Bloodborne Moon Rune. Okay, well, let's take a look at your Bloodborne Moon Rune here. Let's entertain the theory. You know, I don't think so. Yeah, it just, again, it screams Elden Ring to me. This just absolutely screams Elden Ring. When I look at Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame, and then I look at the runes, I'm like, dude, that's this Elden Ring, dude. That's what I think this is. I think it's Elden Ring 2. I think they're making an announcement. I don't know. You're leaning towards Warhammer? I don't know. It feels more demon based. The animals, PoE 2. Again, I don't think Jason Schreier would be like, yeah, it's a good one for, you know what I mean? Like, would he say it's a good one for a game in early access? I feel like he'd say it's a good one because, like, it's an announcement. It's like a big thing. It's like a sequel, or like, Larian's got a new game and like people are going to be really excited. I don't think he would say that for a game in early access that's getting a free update that they literally just did all the promo for, like yesterday. Devil May Cry? No, I don't think Devil May Cry. The real animals make me think it's got to be something within fantasy, it's not Diablo and it's not Elder Scrolls, but it's got to be a game like that where, like, you're in the real world. There are real bears and snakes and alligators, but it's also fantasy. So there's like these demon undead creatures that are attacking. It's got to be in that lane. Where's the location of the statue? Yeah, where is the location? It's in the desert somewhere. Wait a minute, Bloodborne last boss? Yeah, again, when you look at a game like Bloodborne, when you look at a game like Lords of the Fallen 2, I just think they're more in the grotesque lane. Like, the creatures are kind of gross and kind of macabre looking. Like, they don't look real. You know what I mean? Like, a Lords of the Fallen has a radiant hound in it, right? It doesn't look like a dog or a wolf. It looks like something nasty, like something gross. No, it's not Saros. The desert made you think of Saros? No, if you look at everything we've seen from Saros, nothing on it matches Saros. Nothing. Not the color, not the vibe, not the creatures, not the animals. It doesn't have a single thing about it that matches Saros. Just west of the Joshua Tree Park sign. There you go. So if you want to go to the Joshua Tree Park, it's near that sign. California makes me think Santa Monica. I'm here to tell you that I'm leaning Elden Ring 2. The conspiracy that, like, Cory Barlog was hanging out in a stream on purpose to throw people off the scent very early, I don't know. That one, that's not as crazy. The more I think about it, the less crazy that one seems. That doesn't seem that crazy. Right? If you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about the Game Awards statue and what it could be. If you guys want to sort of like throw your hat in the ring, what you think it is, we can do like an on-the-fly poll. I need you to type Game Awards statue in the chat. Type that. Type Game Awards statue. And then after that, I want you to put what you think it is. Let's see if we can't get a consensus here. Zephyroth was 7 months. Thank you so much for using your Prime over there on Purple, getting us to $329. You the man. It's going to be for something not announced. You don't do this if it's for something big and probably unexpected. I agree with you, Britt. That's why I don't think it's like a DLC or something. That wouldn't make an ounce of sense. To be like, yeah, it's a DLC. Like, what? Like, all that for a DLC? Like, and again, I don't think that Jason Schreier would have used the phrasing, it's a good one. Right? It's a good one. That, to me, signals it's a game, it's big. I was in Luke's stream when he joined. It was crazy for him to be there when Luke was going over the topic. But he's a mod in Luke's streams. He frequents it. So it could just be coincidence. I don't really believe in coincidences, but it could just be a coincidence. It could just be serendipity that he was in there and was like, no, it's not God of War. Game Award statue. Okay, here we go. Game Award statue, Path of Exile 2. Johnny Gaming says Game Award statue, reboot of Dante's Inferno by Santa Monica. Game Award statue, new Santa Monica game, not God of War. Bumblepan says Game Award statue, unannounced new title. It could be something completely unannounced. Yeah. And then Chill Will says Game Award statue, Cory Barlog fantasy game. So we got a lot of people voting. If you guys want to vote, just type it like that. And then it highlights it for me so I can read it. We got 5 questions in the question queue. If you guys want to submit questions, feel free to do that. FromSoft and Bandai don't have a track record for doing anything like this. This looks like some kind of hellish or demonic boss door portal for another realm. Yeah, I saw some people saying that they thought the Game Awards statue had PlayStation vibes because they like to do the statues in random places thing. Like they've done that before. So people were saying, yeah, this is kind of out of the PlayStation marketing playbook as of late. You know? Octopath Traveler 0 landing in a mid-80s, like an 85 on Metacritic. It's a New Vegas remaster. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That is, that's the one. They did it last month, right? I've just seen all the close-ups. Insane. Looks like the skulls have vampire teeth. It looks like the skulls have vampire teeth. Huh. Excuse me. Who else has put up random statues? I don't know. I feel like that's like a Sony thing. It doesn't mean that it's Sony. I think that if you're trying to theorize and people are throwing out theories, I think that's a decent theory. You know, hey man, Sony does this kind of thing. You know, it's for a new Bluey game. I think that's the best guess so far, honestly. Snipper Clips 2, Bluey or Snipper Clips. I mean, those are two very good guesses. There should be new categories at the Game Awards like Best Horror Game or Best Expansion. Austin, I would love the Game Awards to have a category for expansion. I would. I think that would be good. They do that at the Golden Joysticks. The year that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree was nominated for Game of the Year, I thought that was so asinine. I was like, what the frick are we doing here? Like, huh? Like, that should have been in a separate category. It was totally fine to acknowledge that Shadow of the Erdtree was a phenomenal DLC, but it should have been recognized and praised for being that. It wasn't a Game of the Year, it was a DLC. It should be praised for being a very good DLC. Like, you're not actually heaping praise on it by having it miscategorized. Like, what the heck? Like, if you had a DLC category, Erdtree would have won hands down, and they would have deserved it. It'd been like, yeah, that's an amazing. It was an amazing DLC. I don't know why after that year, Geoff Keighley seems pretty open to criticism. He makes adjustments to the shows based on what people say, because he doesn't take it personally. He wants the viewership and the attendance to be higher every year. Well, a great way of doing that is to listen to the audience. Well, the one year the audience took issue with the fact that, like, hey, man, you were rushing people off the stage really fast. And he was like, okay. And then he doesn't do that. A year before, it got a little out of control. We had frickin' a speech that was longer than a Call of Duty campaign. I really liked, though, when he made that joke, how angry people got. I thought that was more entertaining than his joke. But, I think they overreacted. I think they were like, yeah, we don't want people talking too long. And they overreacted. They basically made it to where they're like, yeah, you're thanks, here's your award. Get the frick out of here. Excuse me. Didn't Jason Schreier say Santa Monica is working on something that's a new IP, but it's so different it may as well be? Dante's Inferno reboot is my fantasy booking for that. Are you just throwing a random dart, or do you have reason to believe that they would be given the ability to reset Dante's Inferno? Like, why would Cory Barlog be like, I'm gonna make a game. I'm gonna make a game. It's gonna be my project, and it's Dante's Inferno. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't he just make a whole new game, a whole new IP? You don't need him to spearhead that. I don't know. Maybe they really like what he did with God of War 2018, and they thought he could do a reimagining and like a soft reboot of another franchise. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's rumored that Santa Monica was making a new Jack game. Why not? I think you'd have to make a stronger case as to why he would. Like, if he's going to break out and do his own thing and do his own game, don't you think that he would want to be making his own game, not a remake of, like, an EA game? You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that tracks. Yeah. I don't think it's a remake or a remaster. I think it's something new. It's a sequel that people are going to be really excited about, like an Elden Ring 2, or like it's a brand new IP from a studio that people are going to be really excited about. Like if Larian walks out and announces a brand new game, or, yeah. It's got to be something that's got a little bit of punch if Jason Schreier is out here saying that it is quote-unquote a good one, I think it's a PoE2 release picture. I don't think you do this level of marketing for a 1.0 release date announcement. You know what I mean? Your hair reminds me of Elvis. Well, thank you very much. It's a lot of time, effort, and attention for an already announced game, yes, but for a shadow drop, maybe not. I don't think it's for a shadow drop. I think it's going to be for a pretty big announcement. Yeah. I think it's going to be for a pretty big announcement. Someone messaged Jason and get it out of him. He said somebody might get him to leak it, if they catch him at the bar next week and he's had a couple drinks, he might let it slip. So if you guys see Jason Schreier at the JW bar, get him to do shots with you. Get him to do shots with you. You might get him to say it. It's GTA 6, isn't it? No, I don't think so. I think it's definitely... I don't think it's a gag either. There were people thinking it could be like Goat Simulator because like Goat Sim loves to do crazy trailers, and then it ends up being Goat Sim. What IP has vampires in it? I don't know. What IP has vampires in it? It wouldn't be Blade. It's too medieval, too demonic, too mythical. Oh, I bet you it's Redfall. It's Redfall, folks. This is the sequel. Redfall 2. Yeah. Goat Sim just dropped DLC, no chance. This is V Rising. Yeah, there are vampires in Elder Scrolls, but Jason Schreier said it's not Elder Scrolls. It's the Redfall PS5 reveal. Yeah. They're finally going to give people the bite back editions that they paid for. They're finally going to do it. You know, it's time. I think it's time. We've waited long enough. You know. The day before. Yeah. Wow, what an amazing turn of events that game turned out to be. No chance it's Pillars of Eternity? No, I don't think so. There wouldn't be what I mean, maybe coming out of nowhere and announcing a new Pillars? I don't know. Aren't they just got what? Avowed and Outer Worlds delivered? Would they all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, hey, now our next big project is sorry, I heard my kids calling. They were calling for my mom. I wasn't sure. My mom. They were calling for their mom. It could still be Diablo related. He said it wasn't an expansion or a DLC. So what? What, Diablo 5? No way. If it's another Skyrim remaster, I don't think you would do this level of marketing for a remaster. New God of War? If it's a new God of War, which I agree that it could be, then that means Cory Barlog was playing a 900 IQ game when he was in Luke Stevens' chat and said it's not GOW. He's playing a real fancy game. If that was the plan. If his plan was, I'm going to be in a stream that's talking about the Game Awards statue, and I'm going to get everybody off the scent immediately. That's incredible. I have a hard time. Yeah, the vampires, if they are vampires, yeah, it really does look like a lot of Elder Scrolls stuff. It's so hard. Corey would never have been able to have said God of War anyway, as that's the IP name. He would get in crap. Huh? Explain that to me, Paul. What do you mean? Why would he get in crap for typing out God of War? Vampire Survivors 2? That would be amazing. If Sony never got the go-ahead? Huh? Him coming out and saying God of War wouldn't get him into any trouble with Sony. Did you see the picture I put in the Discord? Yeah, but Jason Schreier said it's not Elder Scrolls. I agree. It looks like a bunch of stuff from Elder Scrolls. Like, I looked at your picture, and that was the first thing I said. I was like, yeah, it really looks like Elder Scrolls. But according to Schreier, it's not. Survivors announced their deck builder. It's not a deck builder. Isn't it like a crawler? It's like a deck builder / crawler, isn't it? They're calling it Vampire Crawler. It's a new Twilight movie. Oh, frick, yeah. I mean, I'm Team Alice all the way. I don't know how you can cheer. I don't know how you can like anybody else more than Alice. No, there's no Twilight. Mama, get out of here. You're just doing stuff all day, and somebody says Twilight movie, and you come in here. I might as well have said Diet Coke with bullet ice. You know what I mean? What's the ice called? Bullet?
Opal.
Oh, Opal?
Opal ice.
Opal ice.
Which apparently.
Does anybody want to buy my wife a $500 Opal ice maker for Christmas?
On sale at Target for under $300.
It's on sale at Target for under $300.
I'm not worth that.
Apparently you're not worth that? Mama, you're worth 10 of those, but it doesn't mean we should buy one.
We should.
That doesn't... What's Opal ice?
Oh, he doesn't even know.
A lot of you guys don't follow white women on Instagram, and it shows.
They're
Yeah.
missing out.
I'm telling you.
Ask them, have you been to Sonic or Chick-fil-A?
Have you been to Sonic or Chick-fil-A?
And some sort.
Listen. I'm here to tell y'all.
Stop.
I'm here to tell y'all.
Get it.
You've got to be careful. Don't cross the white women on Instagram. They can make any product instantly popular.
Or
Stanley cups, ice, large Diet Cokes from Chick-fil-A.
can't think of anything else you need.
Buckle the frick up, dude. These women are out of control. They'll like hold it up and be like, "What's up, ladies? So I made a new drink in this cup," and then the company that makes the cups like, "Oh frick, we're out of stock." Like it's like that fast. It's like Pebble Ice, yeah. It's like soft, round. You're getting off cheap. My wife keeps asking for a new Bronco. Well, yeah, my wife's not asking for a new Bronco. We are getting a decent bill from the mechanic for a door that's not working on our Honda Odyssey.
Or ready.
It's still not ready. I live a life of luxury. You guys know this, right? GE has an Opal Nugget ice maker. Yeah, right there.
Money, it was cheaper at Target.
It was cheaper at Target. Get the blue one. Yeah. That is something. I'm not putting that on the Amazon wish list, babe. No. Not doing it. Lono's the third girl in White Chicks confirmed. I don't know what you're talking about. Why aren't you driving a Prius?
I don't think they make those anymore.
Zubair says, "This sounds awesome." No, I'll admit, that kind of ice is great. It looks cool, you know. They like to crunch it. Like, I don't know, what the frick. But
I'm not cranking it.
I'm so tired of normal ice. What kind of a life have I been living with normal ice? Anyways, these are the kind of antics and banter you can look forward to on a Friday night when you guys unlock Friday night. Madam reacts to gaming news and makes fun of me and all of you as well. What's You don't make fun of people? No, okay.
See what everyone's thinking.
You realize every time you've been on stream, those are all we can all rewatch those, right? Yeah. It's called the good ice. That's right. I'm living like a caveman over here. I'm so ashamed, says Zubair. That's right. Yo, what's good, soldier? 41 months. White Women of Insta is my new band name. I'm telling you, man, white women on Instagram can completely they could change the entire world tomorrow. If they all decide to endorse something, it's over. You'll run out of whatever it is. You know, if you're like, "Hey, I made these little trinkets on Etsy," and if they find you, you'll number one, you'll probably be okay. Like, you'll make tons of money, but you will run out very quickly. Yeah. It'd be cheaper if you just buy some ice from Chick-fil-A. Over time, that wouldn't be cheaper. You know what I mean? More power than Oprah. They have that power. Like, they're like a Voltron. They all come together, and it's like the Oprah blessing. That's right. What? Who said you can just buy it from Chick-fil-A? Somebody in chat, Wolf Saint, said that. She said that I should tell you that our van is in the shop, and that that's rude to her. That's one of her favorite things to say. That's rude to me. So she thinks that you have been rude to her, which is the ultimate offense. That's right. What joints have this ice so I can try it? Yeah, Chick-fil-A has it. Lona, did you even make 497 videos this year? What do you mean? Yeah, I probably made. Yeah, well, how would I not make that many videos? Multiple streams a day, uploads. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? My wife occasionally buys bags of Pebble Ice from the soda shop here in town. That's right. I'm anemic. I eat a lot of ice every day, so much that I had to put the cost into our budget every week. Oh, in regard to my last statement. Oh, what did you say? Where's my mouse? What the frick is going on here? Reforge Gaming was my #1 channel for 2025 with 497 videos watched this year. 497 seems crazy. I wonder if that's accurate. Let me see here. I can tell you. What are we? An hour and a half in? Almost 10,000 impressions? Yeah, YouTube is still being terrible. All right, let me check here. So if I go to analytics for 2025, will it tell me how many videos I did? I don't know if it'll tell me. According to my YouTube recap, I watched 700 Reforge vids. Well, you got to think, some of those days, you guys were getting credit for 3 videos a day. Some of those days, you were going to be giving credit for 3 videos. You would watch a morning coffee, you would watch a talk show, and then you would watch a green room. That counts as 3. That's like 15 videos a week if I didn't do a single upload. We were doing that like for 8 months of the year. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of tracks. I don't want to look at my stats for the year. It's freaking depressing. YouTube completely detonated our entire business structure. I don't even want to look at it. It's so depressing. 2024 was amazing, and then 2025, they were like, we're going to ruin everything with AI. Buckle the frick up. Oh, my gosh. Them and every other company salivating over AI. Ugh. Yeah, there was also Friday nights. That's right. Yeah, we would also do Friday night. Yeah, plus a couple of uploads. You only remember the Wu Chang review. I appreciate that, you know? I put in long hours every week doing live streams sitting here, and all you remember is one upload. That means a lot, Mike. Thank you. YouTube said no ice machine for you. That's right. That's right. Not this year, babe. Sorry. They're the king of ruining a good thing. They really are. They really are. They were like, oh, you make lots of members content? You built your entire business around it? What if we ruined that? What if we ruined that and started showing it to everybody and making people mad? What if we did that? Thanks so much. If you look at us on Social Blade, it's like all these views disappeared because we had to get rid of all those videos. That was fun. That was a very great experience. I asked ChatGPT and he said most likely ESO. I keep coming back to Jason Schreier saying that it's a good one. I don't think he would say that for Elder Scrolls Online. I don't think he would do this level of marketing for what? Like a DLC for ESO? I don't know, man. That doesn't track to me. 5 pounds of ice, you might be able to DoorDash it. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not storing a bunch of freaking ice from Chick-fil-A in my freezer. Doubt it. The rest of the aesthetic doesn't match anything in Elden Ring. I don't know, dude. I think the runes really match. This guy said, IGN Japan kindly reached out and explained that IGN First is not paid content and that no money changes hands directly or indirectly. I stand corrected, as I have no reasonable reason to doubt Daniel Robinson's words. Yeah, but I mean, that's okay. I appreciate the correction from Daniel here. Here's my issue with this, though. Daniel's really great. Like, if you want to know like what's going on in like gaming in China, make sure and give him a follow. He's really helpful. He's like had a lot of good coverage of the events and stuff, right? Okay, so no money changed hands, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but according to standards, this should still have hashtag ad on it because you were given exclusive footage or access to the game, like hands-on and all that. I feel like this should be hashtag ad. That's a form of product placement. Like if I do product placement in my stream, I have to mark the stream accordingly. If I'm wearing a pair of glasses or a t-shirt from a company that was sent to me, they didn't pay me to do that, but they sent it to me. If you send me a key to a game, I have to divulge that. I have to say that. That has to be somewhere notated. I think outlets like IGN, 100% they should have to divulge it. Like, this is basically an ad. Like, what do we think this is? If a publisher gives you access to the game or footage for what amounts to promotional material, that's an advertisement. They don't have to give you a check. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think the relationship between publishers, developers, and these outlets is just really unhealthy right now. It's like it's they rely on them heavily, and I think things like that, I don't think that that's up to code. You know? I don't know. Why is there a dino? Looks like to me on the statue. That's the biggest thing throwing me off. Oh, like a dinosaur? I don't know. Rune skulls, animals, and armor. Yeah, like I said, I'm leaning, I'm leaning toward Elden Ring 2 now. I'm going to go Chick-fil-A for lunch. Watch me forget why and get a milkshake. You're like, oh, I forgot the ice. Now I have a perfect excuse to go back tomorrow. All right, let's do something here. Let's try to get to 200 likes. I've got other things that I wanted to talk about, and let's see. I think the Game Awards statue has, for the most part, run its course. If somebody comes in and wants to discuss the Game Awards statue, that's fine. Actually, you guys submitted questions. Let's see if any of those are about the Game Awards statue. Before we shift gears to another topic, let's see what we have here. The first question of the day comes from the OA and says, what do you think it is and what do you want it to be? I think after we've looked at all of the runes and we looked at Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame, I think it's Elden Ring 2. That's my guess. Sorry. I think it's Elden Ring 2. What do I want it to be? I've kind of lost my taste for games like that, like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Sekiro. That's not really my jam right now. So I wouldn't argue that, like, I want it to be Elden Ring 2. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't. But I would say, yeah, I think that's what it is. Excuse me. Excuse me. There we go. Christopher Burnett says, I think it's From Software's next big Souls game, and it's not a sequel to Elden Ring or Dark Souls or Bloodborne. I mean, that would make sense as to why it seems somewhat similar / adjacent to Elden Ring. Yeah, you can ask Destiny questions. That's fine. You guys can go off topic now. I try to stay on topic for the first hour to an hour and a half. We're nearing 2 hours, so we did our job. We're trying to help YouTube because YouTube doesn't know what the heck it's doing with live streams all of a sudden. So we are doing our darndest to help, to like give it a central topic. We stay on central topic. But after an hour and a half, I don't think it's reasonable to ask you guys or me to keep doing that. Like, that's kind of absurd. Like, the average live stream's not going to be on one topic for the entire time. You know what I'm saying? So, Returnal DLC. No, there's not going to be any more Returnal DLC. Yeah. So, Wire Rope with a question here says, will Death Stranding on the Beach drop on PC at the Game Awards? I don't know. Death Stranding is a bit of an anomaly because it is published by PlayStation. I don't know who has the publishing rights for PC, because when the first game came to PC, it was 505. I believe when it finally came to Xbox, it was Kojima. I could be wrong. I may need corrected there. You guys can fact check me there. I think that's how it went. They sold the IP back to, or not sold, they basically gave the IP back to Kojima. So Death Stranding 2 is a bit of an anomaly. I don't think they're going to have it take as long to come to PC, because I don't think they view it as one of their tentpole titles. I think they view it as first party. Herman Hulst referred to it as first party. But I don't think they necessarily view it as a tentpole like God of War or Horizon or Spider-Man. I think those are going to continue to be 18 months, because they tried to do Spider-Man faster, Spider-Man 2, and it didn't go very well. I don't think they want to repeat that. I think Spider-Man 2 was 15 months. So I don't know. Death Stranding 2 in Decima coming to PC faster, I think is probably possible. There was the ESRB rating for PC, which usually means a game is close to coming. I could see them maybe announcing it. I don't know if you would shadow drop that. That would be another oddity there. I feel like you'd kind of want to announce it and give people a chance to wishlist, pre-order, and what have you. So I could see Death Stranding 2 PC announcement being at the Game Awards. I don't know if they would just drop it like a shadow drop. Shouldn't put them on PC until a sequel comes. Well, Death Stranding is, again, in a different category. They don't own the IP. Kojima makes it very clear that he wants the game in other places. He did that with the first one. He brought Death Stranding 1 to Xbox. And because of Decima, they got it to run very well on Series S and X, because Decima is a very, very good engine. And they made a lot of good advancements with it. So, I could see it coming to PC a little quicker. I do not take that as an indication that PlayStation's moving games to PC faster. I don't believe that. I don't think we've seen any signs of that. I've always said that if that strategy is going to change, we will see that signaled by Herman Hulst. We will see that signaled in the earnings calls. The claim that that's happening wasn't corroborated by anybody. I think there's a reason for that. I spoke to somebody that I trust, and they were like, no, there's no merits to that claim at all. And I was like, okay. So I tend to trust that more than the claim that oh yeah, they're going to start bringing games to PC faster. Herman Hulst is on record saying the fastest you'll ever see it's 12 months. They've not changed that. They've not signaled that. I think they would have even signaled that to the shareholders and the earnings calls. They would have said, hey, we're going to start bringing games to PC faster. Here's the reason why. That kind of a strategy shift has always been outlined and very transparent. They don't keep that a secret. Does that make sense? If you're going to take that shift and you're going to take that change, PlayStation has always signaled that and said that. They've never kept that a secret. Xbox is the one that kept it a secret. PlayStation's always been very open about, Herman Hulst was like, oh yeah, live service games are going to be multi-platform. Oh yeah, games coming to PC, yep, we're going to start doing that. The fastest you're going to see it's 12 months. They didn't beat around the bush. They didn't do double speak. They didn't do any of the PR nonsense that Xbox tried to pull. Xbox tried to trick everybody and mislead everybody and act like it wasn't happening. The CFO says, you're going to see a change of strategy. We're going to start putting games on Nintendo and PlayStation, who were formerly considered competitors. Phil Spencer comes out and plays a looky-loo game and is like, oh yeah, we have no plans to put Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo, and he calms everybody down. Then they do the Just 4 Games podcast, calms everybody down. What people don't realize is PlayStation doesn't play that game. They just come out and tell you. They'll straight up say, yep, this is what we're doing. Yeah, we're going to be doing live service games. Yeah, we want 12 live service games by 2026. Oh, yeah, live service games are going to be multi-plat. Oh, yeah, we're going to start putting tentpole titles on PC. Oh, yeah, the fastest you're going to see that is 12 months. Do you see? It's always direct. It's always clear. So I don't think you're going to find out that PlayStation is changing strategy on Twitter. I think you're going to find out from PlayStation, as we have every step of the way. Every single time they've made one of these changes, that's how we find out. We find out from them. They say it, they signal it, they explain it to shareholders, and then we're like, oh yeah, Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're going to start doing that. I don't. And again, I spoke with somebody that I trust at SIE, and they're like, there's no merits to that claim at all. And people that look into these sorts of things and report on these sorts of things, there was no corroboration. There was no reporting on it. Nobody came in and said, yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. So I don't. In this day and age, we're sort of in a new era of time. Yo, what's good, Kat? Thank you for the VIP. Welcome back. We are exactly 20 members from 350. I'll owe you guys another member. If YouTube snags us with a 20, I'll just drop a 5-bomb. I think I owe you guys 3 or 4. I'll round it up. We'll do a roundup here if you guys drop the big one. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. So we're sort of in an era of time. We're in like a leaking insider era, more than we've ever been. So I feel like every year I've covered gaming, like that has increased, right? I feel like we've gotten to the point now where you're going to have to base your like what you trust. I think you're going to have to base it on batting average. And if someone's batting average is really strong, like a Tom Henderson, a Jason Schreier, a Jeff Grubb, a Shinobi, right? A Kepler, a Moore's Law is dead. Like these guys have like really good batting averages. I'm just gonna trust them. I also have some of my own sources that I can go to, and I don't do that. I have a source. I'm an insider. I don't do that. I've run like one show like that in the history of my channel on Starfield. And I asked, and I was like, what's going on with this? And they were like, that's not real. And I was like, all right. So I don't think Death Stranding 2 is an indication of anything, because I don't know how much Sony can even call the shots there. It's Kojima's stuff. It's Kojima's call. And they have a great relationship with him, and he probably gave them preference on launch because they gave him the IP back, right? They helped him sort of jumpstart Kojima Productions and get things going with a great first launch. And I think they probably have a great relationship, and so he gave them preference. I don't think it coming to PC faster is an indication that PlayStation has changed strategy. I think that would be a false positive. So, Brian with 29 months, and a gifted from Brian as well. That's a double. Boom, boom. 332. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. A question here from Mike on the mic says, when do they turn the lights off on Destiny 1? Eventually they need to leave behind PS4, right? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Haven't they? I thought they set a date. Didn't they set a date for that? I thought they set a date for that, which was like 2026. Darth Trooper Gaming. Hey, Lono, loving the stream. Just wanted to pop in and say thanks for reviewing my Factions and Bounties video. You gave some incredible insight. Hopefully it sparks deeper conversations. I thought it was an excellent video. I really do congratulate you on such a successful video. It was very well done. You put in way more effort than I can into my uploads. Like I really struggle to have the time to do that because I'm usually sitting here doing live, for about 6 hours a day. I thought it was an excellent video. So I got to tell you, you keep doing that. And I could see your channel doing very, very well. People like that kind of high effort content. They like to see that kind of work going in. So hopefully it's paying off for you. It looks like you've had a handful of very good videos on Arc Raiders. So you got to make the decision, though. You got to make the decision. Are you going to dig in on Arc and grow with Arc, or are you going to try and stay variety? It's a tough call. His dudeness with 41 months in a VIP. Welcome back in. Welcome back in. There is definitely a strategy for growth that you could dig in and commit to heavy Arc Raiders coverage and get big enough to then branch out and do other things. Or you could try to do that while you're growing. Arc Raiders, variety. Arc Raiders, variety. I think both strategies have their merits. Appreciate kind words. Believe it or not, it was only a 2-day edit. 2-day edit. My issue is the writing and the recording, because I'm a writer, so I want to write it well and read it well and have it sound really good. And I basically either don't do it, like, because I'm like, I can't. It's going to take too much time or whatever. So I just kind of stall out, and I'm like, yeah, I don't have time. Or I just try to do it in one shot, and then it's not as high effort. So, yeah, but Mike on a mic, as far as turning off the lights on Destiny 1, I thought they set a date and time. I thought they did. I thought they said that the Destiny 1's shutting off at a certain time. It was always a short window. Yeah, so here again, let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. This is why you should always be a student of history. So, Death Stranding came to PlayStation in November of 2019. And what is that? 9 months later. 9 months later, it was on PC. So anybody who's like, oh yeah, PlayStation's doing the 6 to 8 month thing, they're bringing games to PC faster, and Death Stranding is proof of that. I think that's a very, very poor diagnosis, because they did the exact same thing with Death Stranding 1. So if it lands on PC in a similar window of time of Death Stranding 1, that's more an indication of what Kojima wants, more than it is an indication of a change in strategy at PlayStation. Homies, this was 5 years ago. This was 5 years ago. This wasn't some starter pistol that, like, PlayStation games were going to start making the jump in 6 months or 9 months or something like that. Ever since this time, nothing has come this fast, because this is a unique situation. The Death Stranding IP and their relationship with Kojima is a unique situation. So attempting to use Death Stranding 2 coming to PC faster as an indication of strategy change, I think is a terrible diagnosis. I don't think that's an accurate read at all, given it'll be very, very similar to what Death Stranding 1 did, which was 5 years ago. So I don't see that as a pattern or a sign of change. Or a sign of change. Somebody says here, my money is on it being an ESO update. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you would do this level of marketing for an ESO update. That just seems, yeah, no. I just don't think so. You don't build your pattern using the outliers. They are outliers. I think that's well stated. Yeah, I think that's well stated. And if somebody would have said that 5 years ago, like, oh yeah, look how fast Death Stranding went. Didn't Herman Holst say it was only going to, the fastest was going to be 12 months? Wouldn't we all say, yeah, Death Stranding was a different situation? Like, they gave the IP back to Kojima and 505 published it on PC. I think we're in a similar scenario right now. I think we're in a very similar scenario right now, where Kojima is giving PlayStation preference. This coming to PlayStation to PCs has zero indication on their strategy shifting. So, what's my most educated guess? I think it's Elden Ring 2. I think the Game Awards statue is Elden Ring 2. Yeah. This is what compelled me. Hang on, I got a lot of tabs open. Okay. A combination of things compelled me. So here it is. Here's the statue. I think this red face on, like head on, looks very similar to the runes in Elden Ring. So you got to be looking at the screen right now, or this isn't going to really land on you. So you got to look at the screen if you want to see what I'm doing here. So you look at these runes, especially these ones at the bottom. They're very, very, very close. Yeah, close those ice maker tabs. That's right. It's very, very close to this. Very similar rune design, right? Then we looked at this, which is Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flames. And if you look at the straight line, jagged, kind of bony thing down through the middle, and then look at these spikes flailing out. There's 2 on each side, right? And then you look at this. Buddy, that is real similar. This really, really gives me Elden Ring 2 vibes. It really does. And if you go, the Elden Ring release date was 3 years ago. Did you see the report that apparently Spider-Man 2 has sold 16 million copies on PS5 and only 700,000 copies on Steam? But sure, they're going day and date. I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man 2 sales on PC were more of an indication of they rushed it and it wasn't in good shape. Like, that's a terrible way to bring your game to PC. Like, it's awful. You know? That's terrible. Elden Ring DLC? I don't think that Jason Schreier would say it's a good one. Like, he used that phrase when he said that it wasn't Diablo. There's, and then he said, it's a good one. I don't think you say that for DLC. Did Miyazaki say he wouldn't make another game as big as Elden Ring? I thought he did an interview recently that heavily hinted at an Elden Ring sequel. I swear he did something recently. Miyazaki, Elden Ring 2. A year ago, he said that it was not in development. I swore we read recently... I thought he said something to the effect of, like, they would be open to a sequel or something. I forget what it was. I swore we read it, and I thought, yeah, that sounds like they're very open to making Elden Ring 2. Again, that's what it sounded like to me. Please be something Western. What would your reasoning be for wanting to be something Western? And when you say that, like, what do you mean? Do you mean like a Western dev? What games or sequels could make an announcement at the Game Awards, says Haseo? I mean, honestly, anything, brother. Anything. Anything could be there. It's... Do you mean like a Western like Red Dead, or you mean like a Western developer? Oh, he means a dev. Isn't Miyazaki focusing on Dustbloods right now? He let them do Night Rain. Do you think he would go hands off and let somebody do an Elden Ring 2 without him? Or at least start without him? I don't know. It's possible. All right, let's pull up some of these other stories. Here. So I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Let's read through this one. Yeah. This one's great. This is my absolute favorite. This is great. So you may have seen the stolen art controversy with Bungie has come to what we would probably consider to be a very good end. Reporting here, thegamepost.com says marathon art controversy resolved as artist reaches agreement with Bungie and Sony. Now, obviously, in these cases, we're not going to know the exact number. I'm hoping it's a very high number, given that it wasn't just the artwork that was stolen. We need to be clear here. This was extremely disruptive to this person's life. They became sort of the center of a controversy and a storm and online attention that was probably very unpleasant. There are a lot of Bungie sycophants out there that worship them and will treat people terribly. They'll side with them over everything. I think you people need to really analyze your behavior online. So this was probably a very unpleasant experience for her. And so I'm hoping that she received compensation for more than just the stolen artwork, given what they basically drug her through with their ineptitude. So the article here claiming artist Anti-Real says that marathon art dispute has been resolved with Bungie and Sony, closing months of controversy around stolen in-game assets. There's a new update on the marathon art theft controversy earlier this year. Independent artist Fern Anti-Real Hook accused Bungie of using her 2017 graphic design work in Marathon's closed alpha build without permission, credit, or payment. Side-by-side comparisons showed in-game decals and signage that looked identical to her posters, which kicked off a serious debate about how the studio handles outside art. Bungie eventually responded through the Marathon dev team account and admitted that her work had been used without permission. Yes, and we need to be honest about this. When they admitted this, it was pathetic, it was weak, it was not accountability. They're all about accountability until it's their turn. When there's actual receipts and actual evidence, suddenly it's a big problem to actually own up to what they did. They blame this on some rogue employee who is no longer at the company. About as cliche as, saying that a training exercise is the reason a jet exploded or something. Like they do in the movies, right? They're yeah, it was a training exercise, like in Iron Man. This is cliche. We know they weren't honest about this. This company is dishonest as they come. The studio said a former employee added her designs to a texture sheet that later made its way into the alpha build. Franchise art director Joseph Cross followed up with a direct apology on stream, calling it inexcusable and promising a full review of Marathon's art assets along with plans to do right by the artist. Now there's an update from the artists themselves. In a new post on Twitter, Anti-Real told followers that the Marathon art issue had been settled. The message comes directly from her official account, and it is the first clear sign that talks between her, Bungie, and Sony Interactive Entertainment have reached some kind of an agreement. This is what she says here. The Marathon art issue has been resolved with Bungie and Sony Interactive Entertainment to my satisfaction. So again, I hope it was a significant sum of money to make up for what happened, because again, this sort of an ordeal goes beyond just basic art theft. I also think the idea that they expect people to believe that it was just a decal sheet that slipped through is absolutely ridiculous, and it's an insult to all of our intelligence. It was very clear the entire aesthetic of the game, from this character to the gun to the decals on the gun to the theme music to the color palette, all of it came from her stuff. This idea that it's oh yeah, some decal slipped through, sorry about that, we'll remove this square from the gun. Listen, you can take a walk. I don't buy that for a second, that it was just a decal sheet. There's a heaping pile of bull from them. I have a lot of reason to not trust Bungie. They're a very dishonest company, but I'm glad it's been resolved. The key point here is it's been resolved. It should never happen to begin with. And their attempt to apologize was embarrassing. So I hope for what they drug her through, I hope she's been handsomely taken care of. And would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, this is tied to Marathon. And does this game, have a shot? Is it going to be successful? I think the overall impression and the first impression really, really shot it in both legs. I don't think it's going to get out of the gate. Even though they're making a bunch of changes. The leaked footage I thought looked pretty terrible. So let me know what you think in the comments below, or make sure you guys are here for these live discussions. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the live environment right now. Yeah, her payoff should be in the millions. Yeah, I think she should be handsomely taken care of. I think she should be put into a significant position of being taken care of. I also played the recent playtest, and you can't tell without the anti-real decals. What do you mean you can't tell they've done anything to it? I'm not sure what you're saying. We asked about the Elden Ring IP. Miyazaki commented, "We're not really considering development such as Elden Ring 2. At the same time, the creator also emphasized that he's not denying the possibility of Elden Ring IP being expanded upon sometime in the future." Right, and I could see him letting somebody else do that. You know what I mean? I could see him letting somebody else do that. Letting somebody else, take the reins. Kind of like he did with Elden Ring Night Rain. Do you know what I mean? I could see it. I could totally see it. Being you know what? Yeah, I'm going to let you guys do it. You guys take the reins. Maybe a spin-off. Maybe not Elden Ring 2. Maybe some kind of a spin-off. I don't know. For what it's worth, he didn't direct Dark Souls 2. Yeah? Yeah. So if he didn't direct Dark Souls 2, there certainly could be an Elden Ring 2 that he has distance from, and somebody else does it. I mean, he let him do it with Night Rain. Certainly could be the case again. So we've got some other things in news and things I want to react to, though. Take the Night Rains. It's freaking terrible. All right, let's pull up the next thing I want to react to. This is a segment in a video from Austin Evans that I thought would be enjoyable. I thought this would be enjoyable. So we will have a link below for the original content. Hang on. I'm going to get this queued up perfectly. Okay. Let me get this. I'm going to frame by frame it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this one's about the PS5 versus... I'm sorry, the PC versus the PS5 Pro. All right. So we are going to react to this, and I think it's really interesting. I think this is an interesting one. So I'm going to pause my music here. And let's get going. A lot of blood has been spilled on the topic of PC versus the PS5 Pro, and Austin Evans took the task of trying to build a PC to rival it, and I want to watch the segment of his video. This is not the entire video. I'll have it linked below if you want to watch the whole thing. This is just the segment where he sort of compares what they built as well as getting to the price, which is the most important part if you are comparing. So let's take a look at what they found when they tried to do this.
All right, my friends, it is time to see how well our Micro Center built PC is going to stack up with the PS5 Pro. So to make this somewhat fair, we're actually going to be playing a couple of PlayStation exclusive games, or at least previously PlayStation exclusive games, starting with Horizon Forbidden West. So the first thing I got to do is figure out what kind of settings, because
I love that he's doing this, by the way, because this is what I kept saying back when this debate was brewing. I said, boot up Horizon Forbidden West. Show me how it runs on your alleged $700 rig, or now $750 rig. Let's see it. Let's see you do it. So I love that he's starting with Horizon Forbidden West. I think this is one of the better showcases of what the Pro can do.
even though the PS5 Pro is a professional console, it still does have a number of graphics modes. I'm gonna stick it at 60. Unfortunately, there's not like an easy way of exactly telling what those settings that will actually get you at 60 FPS are going to be. So this is gonna be running at very high settings with FSR 3 on. So let's do it. Now we're loaded up in the same spot in each game. So before I do anything, let's do a little bit of pixel peeping. So again, I'm not Digital Foundry, so I'm not gonna be able to give you the exact perfect comparison between the actual systems. I'll say at first glance, they actually do seem like fairly matched on very high. Oh, you know what? This monitor's kicking HDR on right now. Okay, well, ignoring that, I will say, as I start walking around in motion, I actually think that the PS5 Pro looks better.
It's a professional console. He's making a joke. Digital Foundry makes the same joke. A lot of the times, Ollie and the boys over there at Digital Foundry will refer to the PS5 Professional, the PS5 Pro. It's just being silly. Again, you're gonna want to keep watching for the price point because that's going to be the real kicker here. You know, he's like, oh, it's close. It looks, the PS5 Pro looks better, PC this and that. Yeah. Just wait till we get to the price, boys.
It's close. It's really quite close. I don't think it's the world's most complicated. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, all right. Run away. Nope. I'll say that at least in Horizon, it's pretty close. I think that the PS5 Pro might have a slight edge, but that's also with me just running on the very high settings. I'm a little nervous. I was hoping that PC would have a little bit more of an obvious hedge. I guess it should be a surprise that a game designed for PS5 Pro is very, very well optimized for it. Next up, let's do The Last of Us 2 Remastered. So we're gonna be running on the Pro mode for the PS5 Pro, and we're running on very high settings with FSR 4 engaged when it comes to the PC version. So let's do a little test. 3, 2, 1, load. Oh my God, why is it compiling shaders again? Oh, because it's
Yeah, I like how he said again. That's my favorite part. He said again. It was like, oops. Yeah, we didn't film that part. We didn't film the part where we compiled the shaders the first time. But here it is again.
New monitor. Oh my God, bro. You know how PCs work? Well, there's some pros and cons. Okay, so we're in the same spot here. And again, at first glance, we look like we're fairly similar. Actually, no. The PS5 looks sharper.
Yeah, I was going to say, almost instantly, I thought the Pro looked sharper. Like her jacket and the snow, I felt like had more detail. And again, if someone's pushback is going to be, well, these are games designed for PlayStation, yeah, which you would then be adding to the argument that exclusives have a lot of value, don't they? When you design a game for one particular system and you squeeze everything you can out of it. Yeah, that actually is a value to the consumer, isn't it? So if that's your pushback when you see these differences, you're essentially justifying why exclusives have value for the consumer and are not automatically anti-consumer simply because you can only get them in one place, for a limited time, and then they're eventually on PC, or in some cases they're, only ever available on PlayStation.
Interesting. There's a noticeable improvement in detail on the PS5.
Now, someone in chat is saying using fake frames on PC and doesn't even show the FPS to compare. Right, not getting into how much frame gen is being leaned on, what's the benchmark for frame rate. That's why I always said I wanted to see a clean side-by-side. Give me the FPS graphs. Let me see, can you match the graphics pound for pound, and then what's it doing on frame rate? Because if you're heavily leaning on frame gen and you're getting a lot of those basically like fake frames in order to do it, we're not getting that in The Last of Us and Horizon. They're not doing fake frames. They're not doing what like Black Myth Wukong did, where like every other frame wasn't real and it led to like input latency and dropped inputs. Like that's another comparison that I agree is a little bit lacking here, because one of the selling points in the PS5 Pro presentation from Mark Cerny is you can play The Last of Us Part 2 remastered, quality and lighting, and you don't lose frames. You get 60. That's the big selling point, is that you don't have to compromise and choose between those two things anymore. You get them all in one mode.
I actually don't think that these are the right. How about I turn the sharpness up a little bit? Sure. So, okay, turning the sharpness.
I don't know if he's using frame gen or not. That's what I'm saying. It's not really addressed in the video. The key component here to stick around for is the price. He's trying to match pound for pound in graphics and presentation, how it looks and feels, and just wait till we get to the price.
Actually, immediately does make a difference. It just looks very soft on the default. Yeah, that actually is dramatically better. There's like no film grain on the PC, which is interesting. I actually kind of like the look of the film grain on the PS5. Why is film grain in Max here like nothing, and film grain here looks very lovely and nice? Oh, God, this is hard. Because the thing that I have not discussed at all is the budget component. And I'll be real with you.
Get ready, y'all, okay? Get ready. Because remember, people kept saying, oh, I can buy used and I can build a PC for $700 or $800 and then I don't have to pay for online. That's great. The two games he just showed, you don't have to pay for online to play them. The online requirement is an absolute red herring. It does not apply here. You do not need the always online subscription or whatever. You don't need that for most games. You don't need that for any of the free-to-play live service games, which are the vast majority of the online games that people play. And you don't need it for any of the big tentpole titles because they're single-player games. So that goes right out the window. So remember, I want you to remember all those claims that you could build a rig to go toe-to-toe or to blow the PS5 Pro out of the water for the same amount of money. Let's look at how much this rig costs for him to basically match. He's essentially matching the two. He's getting to them where they're almost indistinguishable.
It is incredibly difficult to imagine trying to build a PC like this at the kind of price point of the PS5 Pro. As much as I think $750 is a lot of money.
Yeah, this is a lot of money, right? This is a lot of money, all right? What's it going to cost to do in PC land, though?
PS5 Pro, this costs a lot more than that.
How much more?
This build, the way I did it, which to be fair was not going for budget, is somewhere in the like $1,500 range.
Oh my God.
So double. So double. Yeah. So are you getting double the performance? Are you getting double the quality, double the value? Now that's subjective to the consumer. You know, that's a great price. I'll admit that right now. That's a great price for a machine to get games that looks that good. I'll admit that right now. If you want a PC and you're wanting to spend less than $2,000, this is great. But it's double. Okay? this quite literally is one more nail in the coffin of that argument. It's like you simply can't. You cannot match that value. The price to performance is just, it's a clear decision if that's all you're making the decision on. But consumers don't make decisions like that. Consumers make decisions based on their own value system before they come to the decision. So to somebody, they might see that $15.79 and they think that's an amazing price for the performance that he just showed off. For the power, even the form factor. Yeah, that's a nice size thing. You can put that in your living room and it looks kind of nice. So, it looks like one of those fans that's going to like rotate, right? But again, it's double. It's double the price for essentially the exact same performance. He didn't blow the PS5 Pro out of the water. He even said at times he felt like the Pro looked better. That's what you're paying for. So the value of the Pro, I think, is just so well established. And once again, somebody that attempts to just can't. It just really, really is impossible. What are the specs? I'm not sure. He might have it in the description of the video.
So twice. There are, of course, advantages to PC. Of course. I mean, you've got so much more flexibility. You've got so many more games that you can play.
That is true. That is true. Access to the Steam library is a huge win. It really, really is. It's an enormous library. There are tons of great games in there. You get early access games. You could have been playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor before everybody else. You could be playing Moonlighter 2 right now, which I thought was an excellent little game with a really fun content loop. It's in early access right now. When Hades and Hades 2 were in early access, Baldur's Gate, all these games, like there is an enormous advantage to being on PC. I've never once tried to like dissuade people from PC. I was constantly trying to cut down and cut through all of the BS and all of the dishonesty about like, oh no, you could build a PC that's better or equal to the Pro for the same price. That has never been proven by anybody. Anybody that's attempted to has proven the exact opposite, as this video does.
But surprise, surprise, a console works out of the box and is simple. And a PC requires more finesse. It's like, do you want to play on easy mode for the story, or do you want to play on hard mode for the challenge? Just bad analogy, because I normally play on easy mode for the story. Huge thank you to Micro Center for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to learn about any of the components we use for this PC, of course, go visit your friendly local Micro Center, whether it be in Phoenix, Santa Clara.
There you go. So Micro Center sponsored the video. You guys can check out the full video. It'll be linked below if you want to see more about like the specs and like the lead up to that portion where he kind of tested it out. Again, the point of this reaction and the point of what I've said since the beginning is not to persuade you to one direction or the other, but to give you the cold, hard facts, and then you can make an informed decision. You want that level of performance on a PC, that's roughly the amount of money you're going to spend. And that's actually a really great price if you're wanting to get into PC land. The idea that you could build a PC or find a PC or a pre-built or anything like that and get that level of performance out of the PS5 Pro beat the PS5 Pro, that is just completely unfounded. That's the real question that you should ask. Why would somebody like myself, who's constantly accused of like being a pony, why would I say, listen, both are great, both have value, here's the facts, pick which one you think fits you best? Why would I say that and just give you the balls and the strikes and give you the cold, hard facts? Why would people be dishonest about it and try to make it seem like, well, no, you could build a PC that's better than the Pro or at the Pro's level for the same price? I don't know why they would need to be dishonest about it. Just give people the facts and let the consumers make the decision. That's what I've always been in support of, and I think this video is just one more piece of evidence that the dollars to value, the dollars to performance for the Pro is just unmatched in the market. It really, really is. That doesn't mean it's the best thing for you and your preferences, but it is, I think, a great price and a great value. You guys feel free to weigh in on this, because I thought this was great. I thought it was a great little video. Let me get my music back on here. I paid $2,500 for my PC. I was going to pay more, but it's overkill. I would be curious to see the budget version of this experiment. Can it get closer to the PlayStation price? Well, and if you get closer to the PlayStation price, what sort of performance sacrifices are you going to be getting? Right? Like, what are your performance sacrifices? Because you're going to sacrifice. Yeah, right here. Hadigan says 100% sold on Elden Ring 2 now. Yep. Look at that. It so looks like that thing on the... It so does. It's such a similar art style. It is such a similar art style to what we've seen in Elden Ring. Just from FromSoft in general, right? Just from FromSoft in general, it is... it's very, very, very similar. Congrats. You hit 149 followers on Rumble. We don't use Rumble. Sorry, the second one should say ATX power supply. If you build it with an ATX power supply and a full-size case with an ATX motherboard, I think 1200 is right. Didn't somebody on here get the Pro on for like $225 on Black Friday? I think they traded in. Yeah. It's Saros? No. It doesn't match Saros at all. The number of people that think that statue, that the Game Awards statue is Saros. Man, I don't see it, boys. I don't see it. Could we get 14 more likes on the video? Let's try to get 200 likes on the video. Thank you all so much for being here today, supporting the channel. Let me get the goal back up. Let's get that goal back up. It's 100% not Saros. There isn't a single thing in Saros that matches the vibe of like a red, demonic looking gate and bears and wolves. I don't know. The bears, wolves, snakes, and alligators are 100% not Saros. Yeah. There are no real animals in Saros. Still waiting for somebody to make a $700 PC that will destroy the Pro. Yeah, I saw that guy's tweet, Lone Wolf. No, it 100% doesn't match at all. He says similar melted carbonite skeletons. The circle patterns of the doors are strikingly similar. Bat monster thing has similar red aura as the door. No, I don't agree. Not at all. Let me show you guys. I mean, you can make up your own mind here. I'm sorry. This is just a massive reach. This is metallic and refined and smooth. There's nothing jagged. There's nothing earthen. There's nothing demonic or cave-like about it. Like this, I'll give you a maybe on this. Again, this is super loose because, again, it's framed in like a very sharp sepulcher. Like this doesn't look like a demonic sort of fantasy world like you would from like a Diablo. And this here, you got this bat-like creature. That thing in its chest, I just feel like that's such a reach. That's not what the center looks like. The center looks like, number one, the center has a line down the middle. It's red, not orange. And that, yeah, that looks like more like, almost like it's coming from the eye. Like if you look at this thing when the lights are off, it's a bulbous looking eye. This does not look like an eye. This looks like a weak point that you would shoot in its heart. I don't agree. I don't see any signs of Saros in this at all. He says, I made all those red circles. I like Saros and would like to see more. Yes, it's similar. That's why it is Saros. Because somebody says Saros does not have animals. Saros already announced and showcased gameplay. Why would they need this mystery? It's similar. And yeah, I think that's a great pushback. That's a great pushback. This is something that I don't think has been announced yet. I don't think it's been announced yet. I don't think you do a statue in the middle of the desert and have this ARG-like event where like the public's trying to figure it out. I don't think you do that for a game that's already been announced. People are like, huh? A game that already was announced, already had a bunch of gameplay shown. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't think it's Path of Exile 2 and the Last of the Druids DLC, which was what I originally thought it might have been. I don't think it's Soros. I don't think it's the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't think you do this for something like that. That's why I don't think it's Lords of the Fallen 2. I just wanted to draw red circles and jump to conclusions. Yeah, the bottom part of his tweet is pretty clear indication that he's not being super serious. I wanted to draw red circles and jump to conclusions. Yeah. Yeah. It's clear. It's clear he's not, he doesn't firmly believe it, you know? He doesn't. There we go. Doesn't like Elden Ring at all? Yes, it does. This looks an awful lot like these runes. Very, very similar to the runes in the shape. Like straight lines into arches. You know, straight lines. Okay? Very symmetrical. And then really looks like Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flames. Jagged, sort of bone-like, down, these four flailing out. It's so similar to that. I think it's very, maybe not Elden Ring, maybe From Softian, right? If you look at Hadigan's response, like, if you look at this, and you try to tell me there's not similarities, I'm going to tell you to go to the eye doctor. Because and again, I'm not saying 100% it's Elden Ring, but I'm saying there are similarities here. There are definitely some similarities in style here. It's not an announced game. It looks like an eye. It's a Mind's Eye 2? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good guess. It's probably Mind's Eye 2. Yeah. Like, what I argued, what I tweeted was, I said, could the Game Awards statue be for Elden Ring 2? The red is looking pretty similar to the runes in Elden Ring and Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame. That is basically what I tweeted. As much as I hope it isn't, it probably is Elden Ring related. Could be a spin-off game like Night Rain. I don't think it's DLC. Could be a spin-off. Could be a sequel. Frenzied Flame has symbols already, and it's totally wrong colors. I'm not saying it's Frenzied Flame. What I'm saying is we're looking for artistic similarities. And there are artistic similarities to the way they designed this, to the way that these runes are designed. They're very symmetrical. They really like the use of straight lines combined with like half circles and arches, right? This is very much an artistic analysis. Like, I'm not saying that that's Midra. I'm saying there's similarities. This has like a FromSoft DNA baked into it. When I look at Midra and I look at these runes, I sense Elden Ring. I sense FromSoft. Like, I sense their DNA. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just, if I was to guess, that's my best guess at this point. The only other guess that has, I think, some level of like, it's a little compelling in my mind, is that Cory Barlog's playing a game. And he was intentionally in that stream and threw everybody off the scent, like right away, and said it's not GOW. He didn't type out God of War. He just says, yeah, it's not GOW. And it's like, he could have instantly knew, like, people are going to piece this together. They're going to think it's God of War. I'm going to go in and throw everybody off the scent. And so now everybody's thinking it's, you know, Lords of the Fallen, Bloodborne, all these other things. And I think that theory has, I think, a little bit of merit. Like a little bit of merit. Yo, Stone Spire's top 0.1% of my viewers. Thank you so much, Stone. Appreciate you, brother. It might not be God of War. It might be his game that he's been working on. Another completely valid theory. The reason he was paying attention to dialogue about the statue is because it's for his game. Right? I even had people saying, what if it's Loki's game? Like, what if that rumor about Loki getting his own game, what if that's why there's all these animals on there? Right? I think any one of those theories have some level of merit to them, and could be, you know, and could be why he was paying attention, right? Like, why else? Like, because somebody said, like, he hangs out in Luke Stevens streams, right? Somebody said that he does, and I'm like, okay. So he was literally in there moment one, day one, that this was, like, not moment one, day one, but, like, he was in there, like, the minute this was being discussed, and, like, is, like, quick to say, oh, it's not GOW. Like, I'm trying to analyze why would he be in there, and why would he be basically like, oh, no, it's not GOW. Like, why is that something that he's doing? I don't see a Japanese developer who doesn't spend money on marketing dropping a statue in the middle of the Mojave. I think that's fair pushback on Elden Ring. I think there's also reason to believe that it's a PlayStation thing. PlayStation does this recently, right? They put things in, they put statues into the public as part of marketing, you know? Because when I look at this, let me turn the sound off. When I look at this, it's smoking. Something spider-like is, like, breaking through. That's clearly an eye. You know what that makes me think of? It makes me think of the eye. Well, it was like an eye-shaped rune in Ragnarok. Wasn't it like a purple rune? God of War, Ragnarok, purple rune. It was like that thing that you had to target. No, it would, like, appear in combat. What was it called? It was like an eye. It looked kind of like an eye. And it would, like, appear. It would, like, appear on them. Corey just randomly showed up on a YouTube chat after months of silence. Well, somebody said that he does hang out in Luke Stevens' streams. He's a mod, so. I reminds me of PoE 2. I originally thought that it was PoE 2. No, not that. It showed up in the one trailer. It was an enemy that, like, you could only hit it on that spot or something. It was in, like, the burning place. Everything was on fire. And it had, like, an eye thing that you had to hit. I'm going to have to look up God of War Ragnarok trailers to find it. It's very demonic based. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, what's that called? Yeah, what is that called? I don't remember. Does anybody remember what is this thing here called? The eye in the middle kind of reminds me of this. 3 years ago. Yeah, they had like the Ragnarok axe and like the PlayStation in the concrete. Frost Phantom is what it's called. Let me see if I can get a good shot of it. Oh, it's like a rune. Never mind. Yeah, it's like it makes me think of it, but it's not just a straight line through. It's a yeah, it's like a rune. That's like a rune from Hellblade almost. Yeah, it's like it's not a straight line. It's not an eye. Run the vid back. Yeah, if they hadn't come out and said that this wasn't Diablo, I would be like, this is Diablo. I made some new ones. Let's see. Something in the signal. Where is that one? Now, I want you to look at this statue, and then I want you to look at this. See what I'm saying? Look at the way these things are on the ground, right? It's got like rubble around it. And then look at this thing. It's got like it affected the ground, right? It really has a PlayStation marketing vibe. It really does. Like this is very, very similar to the PS5 and the Ragnarok axe being used in public space marketing with like, you know, the PS5 tape and all that. It has that vibe to it. Like I which means it could be why, you know, day one, not day one, but like as soon as this thing starts to get attention, Cory Barlog is just hanging out in a stream talking about it. And he's like, yeah, no, it's not GOW. And it's like, okay. Sony marketing 4 games at a time. Maybe they really want to push the announcement. Maybe they really want to push the second half of the gen. They want to go hard. I don't know, Eugene. I don't know. The question is who would spend this kind of money? I don't think it's cheap. Apparently, it's now allegedly making sound. I think it's going to open at some point. I think it's got a second stage. I don't think it's just going to sit there for the next week and a half. That's more obvious and blatant marketing. This was unsure, like Kojima marketing. Doesn't scream Sony. I think it screams Sony because they're the company that has done this numerous occasions. They put a big giant thing in the public. I mean, we just looked at this image. I mean, this is quite literally even the same type of statue. Like they use rubble around it to make it look like it's part of the ground. Like they literally put this in the desert and they make it look like it's like coming out of the ground, like it's like it's here. Like it's almost like, yeah, this is a part of the surrounding environment. Saros, Wolverine, Intergalactic, all months and a year away from release. No, Intergalactic's not coming out until 2027, unless Jason Schreier's info is incorrect. That's a ways away. So I don't think they're marketing Intergalactic right now. They announced Intergalactic, and we all felt like that was kind of surprising, right? Because next year is Saros and Wolverine. Look at what they did, Eugene. Look what they did. This year was Death Stranding and Yote. And what they do at the end of last year, they had a really long Intergalactic trailer. They could do the exact same thing this year at the Game Awards. They seemingly like to do that. They could have some big game announcement for Keighley at the Game Awards that's coming out in 2027. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not marketing Wolverine yet either. What do you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. Like they just did like the thing. Hang on, I gotta send this to my wife. Our van's ready. It's Low No Secret promo for Reforge Rose. That's right. Like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they announced Intergalactic at the end of 2024, and it's not coming out till 2027. Like, that's 3 years. Like, I think PlayStation with new leadership, I think their marketing has changed. I think they're totally comfortable announcing a game. Like, if Intergalactic is one of the big games for 2027, if, like, let's just say this is a PlayStation game, this could be one of their other big titles for 2027. It could be a game from Cory Barlog. Yeah, they did a big Horizon statue in the public. Like, putting a statue in the public is totally a PlayStation marketing playbook. That they've done this multiple times now for the PS5, for Horizon, for Ragnarok. And this could be a part of the playbook. Hey, we're going into the second half of the gen. It's time to start doing that kind of marketing again. Get out there, put things in the public. Let's get people excited about our product or whatever. I don't know. Neil's doing interviews. Neil was doing interviews with non-gaming outlets about the show, not about Intergalactic. Like, a lot of those interviews, you need to go look. Those were non-gaming outlets that were talking about the show, and then Intergalactic questions got thrown in because of the show had come to an end, and a bunch of people went and interviewed him about it. A lot of them weren't even gaming outlets. So no Elden Ring 2. I still think it could be a FromSoft title, but Eugene made a good point that doesn't seem like something that they would do. They did Intergalactic so people would stop spazzing about Tlu Online. I don't agree with that. That trailer was way too long to be reactionary. PlayStation doesn't react to people belly aching on Twitter. They don't. People complain about the lack of showcases. Have we gotten more? No, we've gotten less. People complain about the showcase being mostly third party. Did they react to that? No. They've done state of plays for third party games like Borderlands. Like, PlayStation gives, I mean this, I really do. They give zero fricks about people belly aching on Twitter. They don't care. They've not once reacted to any of the negative press that they get on Twitter from their marketing. In fact, they seemingly do the opposite of what people ask them to do. Say more, talk more, show more. We want more first party. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I don't think they trotted out the Intergalactic trailer to be like, well, people are complaining, we better do this. It's like, I don't think they give an ounce about the people that complain on Twitter and YouTube and Reddit about what they do and how they do it. They seemingly pay no attention to it. Like, the secret exclusivity deal crap that people claimed about Black Myth Wukong, PlayStation didn't say a word about that. They're like, well, they don't pay attention. Or if they do pay attention, they don't care about any of it. They released the Tlu 1 remake vid doc early because of Twitter nonsense. I don't know if that was for Twitter. I think there were YouTube videos that were starting to get traction that were potentially giving it bad PR and bad reception. I think that's different. The vid doc was already made, and they were like, hey, let's get in front of this and let people know that there's been a significant amount of work going on here, because they know there is a bit of a remake stigma, and that would potentially affect sales. I don't think that necessarily means they were like, oh no, people are really angry about The Last of Us Online, we better drop the Intergalactic trailer. I don't think those are dots on a straight line. Hang on. Man, these bots on Twitter are out of control. You light up my naughty side. Here's my OnlyFans. Like, what the frick? I wonder what kind of conversion those bots are getting. Like, is anybody going and paying them money? It wasn't a reaction. It was a fanfare to let people know that there are other things in development at Naughty Dog. There's a lot of work that went into that, though. I'd say more times than not, they are busy working instead of living terminally on Twitter. I'm sure there's an element of them not caring, but more likely they are just busy doing their jobs. Somebody must do it or they wouldn't waste their time. Either that or it's just an act of desperation. Right? Like, do they do it because like they literally can't get subs? Like, are they not getting subs? Like, I don't know. PlayStation doesn't owe anyone explanation for what they do, especially fanboys on Twitter. They're not that other company. Yeah, I just think they tend to not respond and they tend to not say anything. That seems to be their typical MO. So I don't agree that Intergalactic the trailer was reactionary. I don't think so. And I also think I would not be surprised if every year at the Game Awards they announce a game. Think about it. The Game Awards is the biggest and most watched gaming event of the year. That is one of the best times to announce your game. I think that's why they announced Intergalactic. I think that's why Sean Murray announced Light No Fire at the event. I wouldn't be surprised at all if every year at the Game Awards, your big publishers try to announce something, because it's such a massive stage. It's so big and there's so many people to watch it. You know, it rivals and surpasses the biggest sporting events. Like, I don't know. I don't think Intergalactic was reactionary. It just didn't feel reactionary. It was too long of a trailer to be reactionary. Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into that. Darth Trooper says maybe the statue is D&D related, something to do with D&D RPG. I can't think of anything else with bears, snakes, crocodiles, and demons. Somebody had a really wild theory that I thought would line up perfectly with the show, is that it's some sort of a Stranger Things D&D game. Because it does have a bit of a Stranger Things mind flayer breaking in from the Upside Down. It's got that vibe, and it definitely has like a fantasy RPG vibe with the animals and like the demonic like beings. I thought that was decent, as if like you're just cooking up something random. I was like, yeah, maybe, because Stranger Things is on right now, and the next batch of episodes lands on Christmas. That'd be a really great time to do some advertisements for something Stranger Things at the Game Awards. You know what I mean? It's been confirmed that it's not Elder Scrolls. Yeah. Sean Murray painting a picture like Light No Fire is still a ways out. Makes me sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is, yeah. It is weird to announce something that's that far out, but I think people like to do it because it's big platform, it's big stage, it's big viewership. Makes sense. Is Stranger Things still good? No spoilers. Please don't discuss anything from the show, guys. I'm all caught up, and so is my wife. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I've loved the show since the beginning. They took a bit of a misstep in season 2, I thought, but I've loved the current season. I think it's excellent. I think they just completely gave up on trying to make the kids look young. Like, they just look like adults running around. It's fine. There's nothing you can do about the fact that all of the boys, except for one, are gigantic. They're all super tall. You can't do anything about the fact that Millie Bobby Brown doesn't look like a little girl anymore. There's nothing you can do about that. That's the only continuity problem, is that it's like we went from a bunch of kids to, but they're all adults and not much time has passed in the game. The show, I'm sorry. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's excellent. Yeah, I think their ages are easy to look past because the acting and the content is good. It's like, yeah, you know, they all grew up. What are you going to do? You know? That was like in Lost when Walt got too tall and they were like, oh, shoot, this ain't going to work. The actor for Walt was suddenly taller than his dad. And it was like, well, that's not going to work within the timeline of the show. They should have pushed the time period out. I mean, time has passed, but not enough to be like, why is Mike an adult? Been playing my games I own through the portal through the cloud. I have to tell you, I'm impressed. I was really impressed. I played Ark Raiders on my brother's couch on my portal, and I got a lot done. It ran fine. Latency was certainly there, but not enough to make me, unable to play. I was taking out Ark. I was surviving. I was extracting. I enjoyed it. So, guys, we're a few minutes shy. We're a few minutes shy of 3 hours. I'm not gonna. I was gonna maybe do a scramble and let you guys extend, but I don't like streams to go longer than 3 hours typically because I feel like that just gets a little too long for the all of the processing and things that have to happen. There are people that come back later and want to watch, and it won't have the chat, it won't have closed captions, it won't have any of those things because it's processing. So I try to keep them under 3 hours if possible. So what we've been doing now is we end the day in the green room, and that is something that's available to members. So if you are a member, make sure you are in the Discord. We do not do green room on the channel. Until they fix members' content on YouTube, that's just kind of what we're having to do. We did morning coffee this morning as well. If you're not here for that and you missed that, that's in the members-only playlist. So, yes, we are on pace to hit the goal for a Friday night stream where Madam will react to the weekly gaming news. And today's been a lot of fun. I feel like we had a great discussion, a long discussion about the statue and what it could be. Fun to look forward to the Game Awards next week. I reacted to a video. We read through an article. I think we had a very productive day, and I appreciate you guys being a part of that. I was like, why is there an alarm going off? So, yeah. We're going to go ahead and head to the Discord. You can't figure out how to join the Discord. So you click on the Discord link in the description of the video that you're on right now, and you'll join my Discord. And then you just have to go into your Discord settings. You go to integrations or connections, whichever it's called, and just connect it with your YouTube account. That's all you got to do. So, thanks, guys. Smash like on the way out, and I'll see you in the Discord for some Green Room. If I don't see you there, I'll see you tomorrow for more gaming coverage and more discussions. All right? Take care.